100 frames plus, or else this game is trash. Nah, I understand.
No, I
60 is
can't do
good
100.
enough.
I'm
Okay,
fine
well,
with
I have a monitor that's 144 hertz, and I have a monitor that's 165 hertz. If I could push the frames, sometimes I'll do it. But like, I'm okay with 60 for the most part, depending on on most games, especially like fighting games. You can't do more than 60 anyway, unless it's like, was there Sam Show on the Xbox One like weirdly do like
120.
120
That's insane.
series.
Whoa.
That's insane. Isn't it just like it's the same visually, but just like less input delay otherwise?
I think
Yes.
it's well.
That's still really cool though, because
I can't tell if it's a
Sam Show
placebo thing or
competitive.
not, but the game does just look better on series.
My game just...
Dude, fucking Spooky's setup that's like 400 hertz that he keeps talking about. Like he brought the combo
Arturo?
breakers. Yeah, Arturo. That they brought to combo breaker. It was like 400 hertz. They were doing like, I think it was like Soul Calibur or something on it. And they were like, oh my god, everything's so responsive. Okay,
Really hit
look.
different when it's that high.
Look, dude, honestly, at this point, like, I gotta try it. Like, I just have to see how it is. Because, like, there's no way, because this dude's
Trying
playing
to
on...
play, what is it, Dragon Ball 144?
Well, like, I don't know if there's... Because the in-game, right, is still, like...
Yeah, if
like
the
60,
game
so...
runs the same, and your monitor it goes that freaking high, I'm pretty sure there's a drop-off where it doesn't freaking matter.
Maybe,
Especially when it comes to
maybe.
human, like, the bounds of human perception. We can only
Yeah,
see so much.
but so many people have been,
Art's
like, saying...
Art's probably capping to a certain extent. I'm pretty sure there is diminishing returns, but it is definitely the case that like I played Guilty Gear Strive PC on 165 hertz on a 165 hertz monitor, obviously running at 60 FPS, and then I went to go play a PS4 tournament on a 60 hertz monitor, and I was like, I retire.
Yeah, well there, in fact, you could do the math. There's enough of a gap to where it would make sense where you can feel something. It's
The game,
it's a thing that you would probably require genuine, thorough study that none of the FGC is actually trying to do, like, full case study research dissertation on.
I know the difference between 60 and
I'll be right
144
back.
is usually like a frame or two. Give or take. I think it depends on the game, but like generally it's like a frame or two, like extra if you're playing on a 144 hertz monitor versus a 60 hertz monitor.
If you're playing at 400 hertz on a hitbox, you're just a cheater. Just a
If you're
flat
playing-
You're seeing
on
into
one-
the future.
if you're playing on 400 hertz on a hitbox, you're probably you actually you stole the words right out of my mouth. That was my joke. But yeah, you're probably looking into the future. You're like Shulk. You literally see into the future.
Wow, people just use their fucking mind box to just think about the things they want
I
to
mean,
do.
Matt's been saying that's where fighting games are gonna go. We're just gonna play with our minds at some point. That's gonna be
I'll be
terrible.
too-
I'm gonna get washed.
I was to say I'm too old by then. I'm gonna like
I'm gonna need 3 Red Bulls just to play a basic set with all these young people.
yo, that means when X-Men fighting game finally comes out again, Professor Xavier is gonna be overpowered because of his mind powers.
Jack.
Ew. Let's see. Oh, I probably should have. Here, hold on. I'm gonna do this.
I should be in on the live thing, huh?
Yeah, well, I was just gonna share the screen for if we were gonna
Yeah, don't hurt yourself.
like look at gameplay and analyze particular
Thank you.
things. But what music do
Maybe
you
we
want to listen to?
Play the Sonic Forces soundtrack.
Alrighty. Give me a second.
No?
Okay, I'm back.
I put PSO2 music on just for the memes, but the PSO2 soundtrack is actually pretty big.
Yeah, but you can't play PSO2 music when it's time for Sonic Talk. Literally playing
Yeah.
anything else not Sonic when it's Sonic Talk, it's just like, come on, what are
I
we
mean,
doing?
Ronald,
it's
Ronald.
close enough. Yeah.
Okay,
What
when
were
it-
you playing?
Arnold.
What music were you playing when you were talking Dangan?
I would assume.
I rest my case. Yeah, you definitely were. I promise you, you were.
Star, what's up?
When are you gonna get on PSO?
Well, I mean, I have it. I've been telling Nick though, I can't consistently play the game. Like, I can
It's
barely even consistently log into my gotchas every day. But
Bless you.
well,
Problem
also,
is, you said gotcha's plural.
Well, yeah, it is to that point. Uh, but PSO2, I do want to try it on my Xbox instead of taking a bunch of space on my computer. Also, of course, Ricardo would come in asking to play games. But howdy, whoever's watching. In fact, I'll have music and stuff up in a second, but we can give a brief introduction. This, I believe, would be considered episode 3, the Sonic podcast.
Still no name.
Still no name because this is a very informal podcast, but it's been cool that we've been getting together and consistently talking about Sonic stuff. And naturally, with all of the very polarizing discussion around these most recent gameplay videos for Sonic Frontiers, we gotta hear the takes, hear the copium, hear the hopium, hear everything. Uh,
Dude, we needed XOF here. He was a Frontiers defender.
I mean, well, I probably might still serve that role, which is why I was kind of surprised Ewell said he's cautiously optimistic, because naturally I'm in that same boat. But we will hear everyone's general thoughts and see where the sparks fly from that. In fact, for this, honestly, I didn't come up with any particular questions. I think I was just going to go around and have you guys summarize your general thoughts and observations, and we can kind of just play off each other from there. See what we
Right.
do.
I'm
Uh,
also kind of optimistic for this game. Don't get me wrong.
good.
It's just, I feel like it kind of gives me that band game kind of feel to it, where
Let's
Very
wait
much so.
before diving in to do our intros and everything.
right. Oh my
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah,
No,
well,
no,
my
you're
it's
good.
manners.
You're
also,
Where are
good.
my manners?
I mean, we have as much as we can here for now. I don't know if Esteban was gonna roll in at some point. Uh, then again, how should we summarize this? Because I don't know. We can go in the order of the picture. I'll just start with Riley. I mean, I don't know if you need to like do an introduction again. People should know who you are. In fact, all of y'all should be following Riley's Twitch and YouTube channel. By the way, we need to put links in the chat for that.
Wow.
But Riley, if you want, like, you could let's start with like a general summary of your initial thoughts and rate your anticipation from 1 to 5. Let's do
Okay.
that.
Yeah, I'll do sort of like I guess like a surface level, and then after everyone I guess goes, we can sort of dive in
Dive
just
in. Yeah, exactly.
yeah, a little bit more. Just give it like initial thoughts. So obviously, as I've stated in these casts for like several times over, leading up to this game, like I didn't really like know what to think of it as sort of like an open world concept. So after the finally they released this gameplay for it, I mean, to me, like it's still a little hard to take in exactly like what this game will be, just given like we have the open world gameplay that they released yesterday, and then of course we have the combat that they released today. So there's definitely like they're drip feeding this info. I would assume that it's supposed to be one thing for every day of the month. That's kind of what they were saying. But who knows? Maybe like one day could just be like one little piece of info, not just a whole gameplay thing like they've been doing. Because we're only on the 3rd day, so we don't know what their process is yet. But like going over, like I got the trailer up in front of me, like right now, the one that was released yesterday, so the exploration one. Like it's just there's not as much really to go off of. Still, like it's so strange because like it feels almost like kind of like a boomer thing for me to feel like this, because I'm just like, is this supposed to be Sonic? Like for me, it's pretty funny because it's just like it's hard for me to like wrap my head around like how is what I'm watching, like how exactly is this like a Sonic game per se? And this is like kind of where I hope that like as the month goes on they reveal more about like actual levels. So again, I don't want to go into it, but I will say that there was I think last year there was that leak that came out about the game, and pretty much most of it has been correct up to this point.
Wait, you mean like all those Reddit
that, like-
4chan looking posts that like people?
It was a 4chan leak that came out last year that confirmed the name of the game and pretty much everything that they stated, which was they even stated like that weird spin move that you can do, the circle thing or whatever.
The wind.
Yeah, whatever that is, that was even talked about last year. And the trick system and stuff being back, that was all like mentioned last year. So apparently in that leak, they said that there are portals that lead you to Unleashed style levels. Now, God only knows what that fucking means, because Unleashed style could also mean Forces style, and that would not be good. So again, like, there's not much to say, like, off of, like, what they've been showing. The combat is kind of interesting, I guess I could say, maybe a little bit more involved, right? But the gameplay that they've shown hasn't necessarily been, like the best gameplay. Like, it's kind of slow, which is why, like I've been saying, I'm not getting Sonic vibes. The combat trailer was especially very weird because the enemies kept like respawning, and I didn't know if that was because they were just trying to show off stuff or like it legit did that. But I would say, like, overall what they've shown, the game is looking pretty rough, and I would say this actually has sort of put a damper on my excitement for the game. I'll still, like, leave an open mind just to see what, other y'all will say as well. But I'm not really feeling what I'm seeing, and I hope as they release more news throughout the month that my opinion will change. But just from what I'm seeing right now, I'm not super... I definitely was more excited before this news came out than I am now that they've actually showed it. So that's kind of where I'm at. So I'll leave it there and baton pass to someone else.
Yeah, understandable. And EOL, even though I haven't like been able to fully tell how you feel about Sonic games, but you did say you had stuff to say. So I'm curious, what are your initial thoughts so far?
For the record, my favorite 3D Sonic is probably Sonic Adventure 2. And my favorite 2D Sonic might be like Sonic Mania or something like that. If not, Sonic 2 is also just really good.
Respectable.
Yeah. I ain't gonna lie. So the trailer showed me a bad game. It's just that, like, I feel like there's more. There's got to be like a lot more. I feel like first of all, I don't think I saw the world premiere gameplay. I also saw that you had a combat gameplay, and I didn't see that. Although I saw a little bit of combat in the before, so like I kind of get the idea of like what's going on there already. But like in general, it's just pretty much me being optimistic in regards to, like, I like open world games. I like Sonic games. And the last open world game for a style of game, like, I didn't play at all. Like, I don't play Souls games, but I played Elden Ring, and Elden Ring is probably going to be my game of the year. So I'm going to sit here and say, okay, maybe this is the year of the open world, and maybe they will actually find a way to make this really good, and I just haven't seen the really good yet. Also, the game looks really awful. The lighting looks like really like I've seen Unreal Engine like demos of Sonic just running around, and it looks exactly like that. Where like the lighting is like really bad, and they weren't really able to spend too much time on it, and they just kind of wanted to get something out like as a demo of sorts. And well, other than that, which I know I've been like talking like way more down on it than up, despite saying I'm cautiously optimistic. But yeah. Like, a lot of it comes down to, like, Elden Ring was really good, even though I don't play Souls games, so maybe Sonic will be really good, and I'm just missing some stuff. But, like, I'm not seeing Sonic. Like, I don't see, like, a Sonic game. I just see, like, Sonic in a non-Sonic game, which is kind of, like, interesting so far, and I don't know if the series needed this, but I mean, hey, maybe it turns out really good, and then I just eat my words, and that's cool, because then that's just another good game I get to play. But yeah, the long story short of that is you could thank Elden Ring for my optimism on this game.
Well, that's why I'm starting to kind of see the perspective of when people say it looks like a fan game, but in a negative sense. There's like deeper context to like explore with that, but from what you said, I do actually understand what people mean by that now, especially.
Yeah.
Star, wait, go ahead.
No, I'm done.
Star, what about you then?
Okay. For me, it was like first initial impressions. It's like I'm just like, okay, like I see what they're trying to do, sort of, with the whole open world. Yeah, I definitely do agree with everyone else with the comments about how it just looks like a Unreal Tech demo with just Sonic just plopped in this massive world. It doesn't quite. Okay, it'll probably feel like a Sonic game, but like it definitely doesn't look like one just right now. I feel it'll probably start looking like a Sonic game once we start seeing like what other worlds, levels, like areas that we can go to, like characters appearing, like once we start seeing like all the usual Sonic stuff, then we'll be like, okay, yeah, like now we see how it can be like a Sonic game. I don't know how to describe it, but like, yeah, something like that. What is it? But like, yeah, definitely like just like the first gameplay video, I felt like, yeah, like it looks a little empty and boring. Like there's not really much happening. But to me personally, I think the whole free roam Sonic running around in a massive world, like I think that's gonna be the fun part right there. Just running around, like trying to jump over obstacles and just like do the stuff across the map. Like I think that's gonna be really fun because it's like because we got like a little teaser of what that could be by just looking at the Roblox game, like that Sonic Speed Simulator thing. Like
Yeah, I
that's
saw
Sonic
some
in a big open world, running around. Like that looks really fun. And I think just that free roam aspect is gonna be really sick. I don't know about like just like the whole doing quests and like solving these puzzles and everything else just yet. We'll see how they become. But yeah. Are we also talking about like the combat stuff or not yet?
Well, this is
Just
just
like your
initial
basic
impressions.
thoughts.
Yeah, basic
Yeah.
thoughts. We can dive into deeper things if you like once we get to it. But were there
Yeah,
some
I mean-
initial thoughts you had about the? Like, go ahead, Riley.
Oh, I was just gonna say I have like some notes just for basic things to like talk about. So
Yeah, in fact, I can
Yeah.
make that a specific thing we segue to in a little bit.
yeah, don't worry about it. We'll just finish out what we're doing now.
Okay. In fact, or sorry, go ahead.
But yeah, no, pretty much that's all I got right now for like initial impressions. It's like yeah, I mean, obviously Sonic is in it. It's gonna be a Sonic game. It's just from an outsider view or just from like what is it, like overall just game perspective. Like it just doesn't really look like one, but we'll see how it just comes out. It's just like I'm on a neutral standpoint right now with this game. I don't like it, but I don't hate it either.
Yeah, I bet you hate Green Eyes too.
Oh my god. And coincidentally, perfect timing. Howdy, Esteban, which works out.
Yeah, sorry about
It's
that.
supposed to be
I was
next.
held up. I was held up a little bit. I'm sorry.
Oh well. I don't know if you had like some thoughts together and ready already, but so far we're just doing like basic initial impressions from the gameplay.
I mean, like I saw all of it. Like all the stuff that's been released up to so far. So I have a big idea of what I have in mind with it.
Well, go ahead. What are your initial thoughts so far?
I appreciate something new and different. I think it's something that I can I like what I'm looking at, but I think for what it's worth, I need to see more what they want to push with this game. So I feel like there's more we're not seeing, and I feel like we're not seeing that, as well as, if you want my honest opinion, I think they need to drop the Switch version entirely. I honestly think they need to drop that version because Well, let's think about it and give it some context, right? With how the game, how the world looks, and how you have to run around as Sonic, and how it already has like a bunch of pop-in issues, it's gonna run worse on Switch, and no one's gonna want to buy it. And I know there's like that thing where like historically where it's like, well, if you put it on a Nintendo console, it just sells better. Like, yeah, I get it, but this game's gonna suffer a lot more if you have it on Switch as well. At least that's what I think personally.
No, yeah, that's. In fact, funny enough, we were talking about some things with like performance-related stuff earlier.
Because it's like,
You're gonna say something?
Wait, what?
No, someone was adding their comment. They weren't finishing it, and that's why I'm asking you something.
Ronald? Wait, were you done, Ronald?
No, I was making sure like we can hear you because you were cutting out for a second. Go ahead, Star.
Yeah, okay, yeah, no, because I was gonna say like it definitely makes sense about like dropping the Switch port, because it's like if you look at like other recent titles that have been announced that are coming out that are like coming out on like what is it, like PC, PS5, and Xbox Series, and they're completely skipping like all the PS4, Xbox One ports. Like it definitely makes sense because it's like developers want to try to take full advantage of these new powerful systems instead of feeling like they're held back because they want to make sure that they're also optimized for the previous gen.
Yeah, so in my opinion, I think they just need to let go of that version for as much as they always will put their stuff on a Nintendo console or handheld.
Yeah.
I think it's a bit of a detriment to them to release a product that's not going to be good.
Well, to be real, when the game is like set out to release in 6 months, I doubt they would like abandon something flat out. But this is also a topic that I'll put on the list of things to dive into deeper, because you have to kind of talk about. Wait, what?
Sorry to butt in, but to be fair, I remember a time when we were expecting Mortal Kombat 10 when they still had announced that coming out for PS3 360 back in the day, and then midway into development, they decided to can that version.
But how far in was it?
I believe it was like months before the game was going to come out.
Because you have to be in like a seriously bad position to full on abandon a port project like that. But what I was gonna say was I'm gonna keep this on the list because part of what you have to consider when it comes to should a game release on the Switch would be part of what we were talking about before. It is certain aspects of the game, like gameplay wise or stuff to do, like for example if there's a freaking Chow Garden, that would genuinely be like, even if it may not appeal to everyone, that would be a game changer to have on the Switch, and that would be one of the various things you'd have to consider, and they would have to consider from a developer and sales standpoint of would it still be worth it to do something for this version. But we'll go into that deeper later on, but just keep that in your minds. But did you have any other like basic thoughts?
I also think that like what is it? So a lot of the overworld stuff did seem very interesting, and I will agree with some people that like, yeah, it does kind of look like a bit like barren and stuff like that. But I think the prospect of it being like how open it is still going to be pretty fun. Now, it's still kind of jarring to see like, oh yeah, here's all these rails just placed in the sky doing absolutely nothing there. Like, you know, it's not really adding to the to the world view of what like how it should be there. You know what I mean?
It's
like if Sonic were to go,
I was kind of thinking that actually.
Because if you think about it, it would make more sense if like Sonic would be like, well, what do we have here? A switch? Oh, cool! Some mystical rails just pulled up right beside us. By this place where I'm at. Let's go. Like, you know, that that would make more sense than just leaving it floating up there with no like artistic flair to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That would complement to the building that is right next to it. Like, so I can agree with that, and like not to mention, did you all anybody? I'm assuming everyone here saw the combat trailer today.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, it was
So
this morning.
my only worry, because I thought this looked neat, however, this kind of reminds me of Sonic Heroes in a way, where I was not a big fan of that game's combat, quote unquote. Where it's like you have the power type and everything else, but it reminded me of that. I'm like, why am I getting like flashbacks of like some enemies having like health bars and like being kind of obnoxious to kind of like fight against? Like the one thing that kind of got me like tripping a little bit more was the one where it's like a shell and you had to do a ring maneuver around it.
The wind thing to take it out. Actually,
Yeah, like
that
Sonic
really is like Sonic Heroes. Huh.
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
Good times.
No.
Wow,
No.
we're gonna go deeper into that take later. But I'm glad you mentioned that because I didn't think of it that way.
But yeah, so it just reminded me of that. I was just kind of like, and like the person doing it had to do it a couple times, right? And granted, there's supposedly a skill tree in here, right? Obviously.
That's what I
So we don't know how much more play it's gonna be when it's introduced, right? So you could be where you get more strength and stuff, but just from the initial like pitch of like how it looks, it just like I don't know, it just kind of like rubbed me the wrong way a little bit. But I did think some of the combat stuff looked sick, although as cool as the like zip and like you know what I'm talking about, like where he zips around.
Yeah, in
and
fact,
like
there's something I'm gonna bring up later about that.
he zips around, but it doesn't feel like it's that powerful. And then not to mention like what's the purpose of like what's the payoff of doing that when like it doesn't feel like it's rewarding enough for what it looked like in the footage, you know what I mean? I mean, it looks cool, but it's not really very rewarding because you see that and then like you see Sonic doing the whole like I'm gonna lift my leg up and go into a Sonic Wind pose. Yeah, whoop 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 whoop. So it's like he does that little cyclone technique, but with his leg lifted up, just like going in a complete circle. I'm like, that looked more effective than the fucking like zip dash horseshit that he was doing.
Yeah, which things will probably have varying uses and power. I would hope so from design. In fact, I'm gonna cut off that discussion there because we're getting into the speculation aspect of what I was gonna bring up later, and also some combat points I was gonna explore. But
I will say though, before I end my little thing, I did think the whole traversing on top of a giant like enemy thing that they showed up towards the end, I think that did look pretty cool for what it's worth.
Yeah.
But anyways, I guess that's my whole take, I guess.
Okay. And right, you're back, right?
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah, I'm here.
Do you have any general thoughts?
Honestly, like I said before, I've said this probably a few times. I'm like I said, I'm a little optimistic about it. I'm honestly consider buying it and try. I'm gonna actually buy it and play it, test it out, see how I go from my experience because, you know, it could probably look like crap, but it could probably to everybody else. But I could be just like, you know, if I play the game, I could be like, why not play the game and give it a chance? I can't just go and be like, I don't want to buy it, you know, because Sonic has been. I mean, it does have that feel like Sonic Adventures to me, like just that little bit of Sonic Adventures because it's like open world and stuff. And my favorite games were Sonic Advance 3 and Sonic Adventure 1. So, but honestly, it feels like to me when I first saw the gameplay trailer, it just looked like a fan game Sonic sandbox. In my opinion, and to me, when it comes to like sandboxes like that, if they're not really developed, like if I don't know that if there's no story around it, because I'm also a big fan of story. If there's no story that's alongside it, it just feels soulless to me. You know, like yeah, you can have good gameplay, but if it's like, what about the characters? You know, if there's nothing interesting about the characters, like their move, like their not their like voices or like the characters' motions and stuff, it just feels lifeless right now. At least to me, of course. So
Which makes sense. We don't have any. We have like one sentence of story information so far, so that makes sense.
Yeah, it's to me right now. It just feels like a lifeless sandbox, and I'm just gonna be like, okay, we haven't gotten to the story parts, so we don't know what's happening with this game. But I wish they would show more. I would like to see the UI as well. The UI is not shown in that thing, and I'm just like, where's the UI? Where's the ring count and all that stuff? It kind of grinds my gears a bit. I don't know if this happens. I don't know if that feels the same way for you guys. I'd just like to see like the UI for the game right now. You know.
That's fair.
Honestly, going back to your topic on like the game not being on the Switch, I would like to see it on the Switch. I think it has potential to do well and work on the Switch. I'm not gonna go further than what I'm gonna say, but I feel like it can work on the Switch. But if it has to go, I mean, I'll feel bitter for a bit, but I guess that's how it goes. But I still feel like it should be also on the Switch, just cause. But it's not. We could talk about that for another. We could talk about that later on. We could discuss more on that. But that's my opinion on like Sonic Forces should be on a Nintendo Switch, if anything. But who knows? If it's not there, you know, it is what it is. I'll take my chances to play it on the PS4. I can live with that. So, I think honestly after that, and there's stuff about the fight, like the fight mechanics. I think we can go on to that later on, whenever you guys want to segue into that. So. Right. I think right now, as I said, it just feels like a sandbox. I'm like, there's some parts where it's just like it feels good, and like I get that kind of, yeah, this is a Sonic game, but it's like Sonic Adventure 1, but it's just like on the other hand, it's just like it's just soulless.
That's why this shit has to be a hub world or something.
It has to be.
This can't just be the game.
Yeah, it has to be a hub world.
Not obviously, because they haven't. See that was the problem with the way they've been revealing this shit. Is like, I wish they revealed like actual like levels in combination with this. Like, if they weren't ready to do that, or if they're saving it for the rest of this month, like okay, whatever, right? But like they should have probably put that out first and then did these deep dives into the different aspects of gameplay, because I'm basically looking at like a deep dive on like one aspect of something that I don't really know anything about, which is why I have more questions than answers.
I'm kind of glad you. I mean, even if you're like worried of what may be to come, I'm glad that you pointed that out, because that actually is one of the things that I had noticed. Was I think part of why there's so much polarizing reception and anticipation for this game is because of their choice in presentation. In a day and age where, well, maybe I shouldn't even say that much, because we're all from the fighting game scene. We've been exposed to like devs having open betas and yada yada. From that perspective, I would think it would have been smart for them to be more transparent of what exactly it is they're trying to showcase, rather than calling it world premiere of the gameplay, when this really does straight up look like an alpha build.
Yes.
To be real, this feels like an alpha build. So I think if it wasn't if you just are transparent and say, yo, here's the alpha of what we have so far, and you do like, oh, actually, I forgot, they did say there's going to be interviews, and so they might clarify some things more, be able to talk about what to expect, what they're going to build upon, maybe even address some of the criticism. So there's still room for them to be transparent about things, but I would say for this gameplay, it probably could have been presented better, if not better, at least more transparently. Then you wouldn't have all these expectations of this is the game, because, I mean, people have varying degrees of understanding of game design and whatever, but if you put gameplay in front of people and call it world premiere, not everyone is going to think, oh, well, this may be an early build, things can change, we haven't seen XYZ thing yet, and that's become apparent also, especially with the different things you guys have mentioned so far. So I'm glad we have these varying opinions to show that you have to be careful how you present your product, especially when it's 6 months away from release.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, no, I was just agreeing with you. I mean, I feel like they probably thought they were doing something good with having like a full month dedicated to, showing all this stuff off. Like, but the problem is they just kind of started it off completely wrong.
Yeah.
Like,
advertisement and building hype can be important for marketing, but you need to have the right thing to market.
Yeah, it would be like if they were like leading up to like, let's say they were leading up to releasing like Unleashed, and they went really, really in depth with like Adabat. And that's it. They didn't talk about anything else. They were just like, yeah, we have Adabat in this game. It's like, okay, well, cool. And then the next day they're like, okay, here's the music from Adabat. It's like, okay, it's like, can we like, get a whole picture point of view? It's not exactly, maybe not the best comparison.
No,
it's just
I
like,
get what you mean, actually.
Yeah, it's just like they're just kind of like focusing. I feel like maybe on like, obviously the stuff is important. The open world stuff is much, is going to be a core part of the game, I imagine. But
how
like,
they're layering what they're showing us should have been better structured.
Yeah, I mean, I just wish there was something like a big opening to this. They had that like trailer that they put out the first day of June. They had that initial trailer, but the problem is that trailer just showed off the open world stuff. So the only thing I'm thinking of is there's really only given the information Sega has put out to this point, there's only two conclusions you can come to, in that this is either like a open world but that's speculation because they haven't said anything, or this is the game and that's it. I mean, this is surely what like Sega's positioning it as, because this is the only thing they've shown so far. The main like revealed trailer apparently doesn't even have footage from any of the actual levels. So assuming there are levels in this game, we don't fucking know. They haven't shown it. Now it's gonna be funny because let's say tomorrow they're like, okay, here's the levels. Like, yeah, just our fucking luck, the timing. So that's why it's so hard to like go off super hard, because like we don't, they're gonna drip feed us information, right? We're not super sure, but yeah, I mean, you have the reveal trailer up right now, the one that was released on the 1st. Yeah, this is all this stuff. So this is basically they just had the exploration gameplay, and then they have the combat gameplay, and actually those were the only two aspects they just showed in that trailer. Okay, actually, hold up. Now that's not good. This might be it.
You know what?
That might be it.
You know what? You know what's
missing? Let me do the
missing?
announcement trailer. Well, the announcement trailer was more a CGI sprinkle of
That was
story
like a teaser.
speculation. Yeah, it's
Now-
just a teaser.
Trailer.
You know what's missing in that Sonic trailer, or that Sonic premiere that I'm just thinking about? There's nothing. Okay, this may be just a stretch. It may be like whatever, but there's none of that music that screams, it's a Sonic game. It just feels like that, that ambient stuff that you would hear in Metroid and Legend of Zelda. That stuff that would work definitely in a Zelda game, and it would definitely work in a Metroid game. but there's no that upbeat Sonic music that you hear in that trailer. That's why it feels like a must right now.
Yeah.
That's
They're
why
going
To
to a
be-
different
well,
vibe. Yeah.
It's the music in here. It's just more or less copying. It's straight up ripping a page out of what's it called? Out of Breath of the Wild for the most part. When you really think about it.
No,
Right, but
I kind
that-
of believe the memes more that it is actually like PSO vibes a little bit.
okay, I can give.
Well, I
I'll
mean,
give you
that's
the PSO.
aside from that's a side effect, but that's not going to help the fact the majority of everybody and their mother is literally looking at this like, why are they copying the music that's almost like pretty much ripping off of Breath of the Wild? Which, let's be real, more people know more about Breath of the Wild than they will know about PSO2.
Also true. That actually goes into a topic of what I'm gonna ask you about later. Yo, thank you.
What else?
Yo,
and also
actually-
from
Miso?
Wait, what?
Oh,
Yeah, thank you. That actually kind of. Okay, maybe it's my casino bias a little bit, but being able to do like open world exploration of a casino zone sounds kind of freaking cool. Like the Sonic Adventure stage, but just like times 10. That'd be kind of funny. Anyways, sorry.
No, that would be kind of cool if like this was just one hub world and they had multiple. But you know that's
Yeah.
this takes place.
that's not how
Well, the
it is.
game takes place in a hub world called Starfall Islands.
It's
Yeah.
an island, which is again, this is going
it's
into a
not just
topic
an
I'm gonna
island.
go on
It's like-
later.
Right, but it says islands, so it's like there's gotta be more than just one hub world of the said island.
One of
Hey,
the
yo.
islands is casino and hookers.
Hey, which island got the fucking casino at?
And
Keep
from
in
what
mind
I've
the
heard,
target audience of
and-
this franchise, I guess. But we
and
can
from what I'm
dream.
hearing, like from rumors and from looking at the wiki and everything, it says that like besides Sonic, Tails and Amy are also going to be in the game.
Like actually.
Of course, right? But I think we'll talk about that more later. I'm sorry, I just kind of segued out of that. I just like, okay, that's kind of interesting.
Well,
but
I'll use that as kind of a segue into one of the topics that I was going to bring up with part of my thoughts, which I might as well give all my general thoughts, but I'll sprinkle in a bit of what I've realized with some of the perception of everything. Is it's interesting to see people like point out certain aspects of, oh, Sonic's running through a bunch of fields, oh, it's so much open space, why isn't he in like a city or something? Like the game is literally on an island. So I think with part of the criticism, we do have to keep in mind whatever story aspects or theme will pertain to this game, but it's also fair that we haven't gotten that info, but we'll just have to hope that people actually wait and consider that info.
right.
Mm-hmm.
They said to put on Forces music, sorry. But my general thoughts, you can probably put me in the cautious optimism territory, but that's also because at this point, with the Sonic franchise, I'm kinda in the same vein of what happened to me with Naruto, where I ended up eventually just having no expectations, and I'm just along for the ride. I just want to see what happens. So when I see this, like, initial stuff with, like, combat, and him going through, like, all these fields, and there's this nice, serene music, I dig that. And I'm more so thinking about it from a perspective of the potential of what we will get if they don't rush a Sonic game for once in their lives, which we'll just have to see what happens. But personally, overall, I like the concept of what they're going for. Sonic, like, it baffles me that people think Sonic in an open world is a controversial idea, as if he's not built to traverse thousands of miles quickly. Like, that just sounds cool. Having the freedom to finally have some speed, or genuine speed, I should say. To be fair, in fact, I'm gonna go to this other one real quick. I think the speed is there. I don't know if it's to the. I don't think it's to the extent of like
Mal-
Unleashed, but the speed is it's there a little bit.
So
That reminds me of
It's-
Sonic.
I think
was
the
this-
problem is that like we don't have a UI like someone here mentioned.
Yeah,
we don't
like,
know
like-
if they're implementing a.
Boosting would
We
work.
don't know if they're implementing like a boost or like a mini boost or like.
yeah.
or
In
the fact
fact,
that when you saw someone jump, they did like a air dash in the air, but like we know in the past that usually when there's an air dash, that button is usually the same as the boost button. So you know,
essentially a homing attack where you don't home in on anything.
Yep.
yeah.
Which we would need info on like UI resource management, because I really don't want it to be like Sonic Colors where your speed is dictated by getting wisps instead of Sonic at least using some of his own freaking power.
well, it doesn't look
In
like it here.
Sonic Colors and in Sonic Unleashed PS2, it was kind of bad where you had to like wait to build up reserves to actually use the damn thing.
You didn't have as much freedom with your speed as Unleashed, which here it looks like it's like it's. In fact, it doesn't even look like it's a boost that you hold. It looks like a boost. It looks like a kind of like a dash button. Like he does a little dash, and then there's a burst of speed, but he has to keep doing it.
Now hold up. If this is IGN playing this game, we might be fucked.
Yeah, well, that was the other thing I was gonna bring up, was people are critiquing the gameplay when it could. I don't want to put them on blast, but we can be seeing the very lowest level of gameplay and not
Yeah.
exploring actual technique or anything.
Yeah,
The way. Oh my bad. I'm just gonna say. To be fair, when I saw them play it and the way they got hit and stuff, I was like, bruh, y'all. I didn't want to say that out of them because I know where they come from because I'm also a bad player. I'm also a bad video gamer myself. But it's just like y'all are like just not giving y'all full potential out. Like
well, hold up. Like, just because something happened on screen. Like, literally right now, what's happening is like, whoever's like playing this is like trying to do like a really slow walk animation, but like it's clearly looking like
He's gliding.
how it. Yeah, where he's kind of like walking in place, like you're not meant to do that. Kind of like how Generations and Forces were. Well, actually, Forces didn't really have.
Or they
something
don't
like that,
actually
but-
like see, like it's there again where
Yeah, it's not like meant to. It's not. You're not meant to go that slow. So like.
So it
this-
kind of feels awkward going slow.
Yeah, but it makes me think like, okay, like did Sega watch this and approve it, or did they just say like, okay,
it's
play your
in
game,
the
do it
game
however
and
you
they
want?
play it.
I'm
Yeah,
certain
because that's
that
what I'm
they-
thinking. Because
I'm certain that they were like, oh my bad. I'm sorry for interrupting.
no, I was just gonna say because we were talking about the boost thing. What are the chances that whoever's playing this doesn't even know that you could hold down?
Yeah,
the
it
boost
doesn't
button?
even like actually know. You can just hold it down. Like I don't.
They
This
probably
is
just
something we
think,
need more
"Oh, mash."
information on.
Yeah.
Here's
And-
the thing,
Go ahead.
I'll hear you on that, but they also didn't give them a UI to work with.
Well, that's the thing. What if this is like special dev build footage? This isn't even like showing the UI or anything. Maybe even they did have an opportunity to play a build with like UI and stuff. I don't know. This is why when you make these judgments, it's the kind of thing where yeah, you shouldn't have to do the mental gymnastics, but at the same time, you gotta kind of consider the possibilities of what information we may be missing and what we may get. And I guess that's up to us to wait and up to them to actually give it to us. Because the same thing I feel like can be said about people's criticisms of like the animations and stuff. To where again, me knowing how game design typically is, and we're wishing they could have been more transparent about it, this feels like an alpha build presentation. So seeing the animations the way they are, I would make the possibly bold assumption that this isn't how things are going to stay. But going back to what we know about Strive, you can't fully make that assumption. There are some things where sometimes if you don't point stuff out, devs may think, oh, we don't have to address this. So, I I don't know. I can see it both ways. Where for me personally, there's some discussion of this game where I feel like people's expectations are way too high, but pointing things out, I guess, is fair.
Yeah, of course. I posted that thing today in the chat where it's like, oh, it's not even a finished product. How could you even like judge it? Like somebody put a comment
Yeah.
saying that. And there's lots of stuff like that. That's not obviously not the only person who's been saying. Just to sort of give a consensus, this game's reception is one of the most polarizing I've ever seen. I have seen people like on like, yeah, let's go, this game looks fucking sick, to this game looks fucking awful, to this game is mid as shit, to this game is kind of bad.
Made a freaking video today.
This game is like crazy with the like the just polar opposite opinions that I've been seeing. Like it's kind of interesting. Like it's a very interesting discourse, but unfortunately a lot of the people that are like on the extreme of both sides are like usually pretty like little dumb. I won't like the people who are diehard. Like there's people that are like on maximum like copium for sure.
Maximum copium, and then also maximum haters. There's various levels, which is why I would have to assume that all this polarizing reception has to do with these aspects of perspective that I've said, where some people may understand this probably is an alpha build. Some people may be thinking, well, this game comes out tomorrow. Oh my god, this is gonna suck. Or like I don't know. We just kind of have to ride the wave and see what new information. In fact, I like what JD Legend says in his One Piece reviews. With new information, your opinion can change.
Yeah, it's true.
So we'll just have to see what happens with the perception.
What's funny about you bringing up like the tech demo stuff is people are, there's the side where it's like, oh, this is just a tech demo, or like it's just or like an alpha build or beta build, you shouldn't judge it too harshly. And it's like, look, okay, this game is supposedly coming out this year at at
6
the
months
end
is not a long time.
Yeah, so to think that this game is gonna like change like in any significance in this amount of time is a little like little misplaced there. Now I'm sure it will, like obviously there are things that they will change, but there's also like conspiracy that I've been reading where it's like, oh, this isn't like this isn't the latest build of the game, like this is an earlier build, and it's like, why the fuck would they show off like the not latest build? Like it just like there's just things that aren't adding up, right? Like if for people who are saying, oh, it might look bad now, but it'll definitely look like much more polished.
Yo,
maybe,
if they gave IGN an alpha build, but the game is borderline finished, and they for some reason didn't show that'd be...
No, I mean, look, I understand Sega is Sega, and they make the stupidest decisions in the world, but like, I think anybody would want you, okay, this is the first time we're showing off this game, let's put our best foot forward. Not let's show off some buggy like bullshit like Forces model reused like fucking game as the first viewing of gameplay for this. There's no way anybody thought that. So no, this is more or less what the game is gonna look like. Obviously sans maybe some model polishing, some graphical tweaks.
There's definitely gonna be some polishing.
Yeah.
I hope so. In fact, before we, I guess, go too deep into certain things, I'll try and finish my general thoughts and then come back to this topic of speculation, because there's just some things I want to pick your brains about. But I guess it's still good that I brought up certain aspects, because when I was hearing all the polarizing reception, it was making me think of what are people considering, like, with, like, is this like an alpha? What are people's expectations? Things like that. But again, for me, I'm not that hard to please. I'm more so enamored with the concept. I like that we're gonna be able to do Sonic Rush tricks. Having these aspects of I like my favorite Sonic game is Unleashed, so I like speed, but I also like typical hack and slash combat. So I like that there's an inkling of combat and that he has some Sonic-esque abilities. In fact, the freaking wind kicks are pretty cool. But my initial impression with these like stiff animations, I'm assuming that it seems like they're going for some like dynamic camera angle stuff, but there's some transitions and tween frames that just aren't there, so things just look really jarring and they cut. But I guess it's kind of cool that they're at least trying to put some like impact and emphasis on the stuff that he does. Like, not gonna lie, this wind kick stuff is kind of freaking cool.
Right,
Yeah,
but why he looks stiff as fuck? But why he looks stiff as fuck during that shit though?
I don't know, but just the whole the general idea of them giving him like these abilities of like wind stuff. It's nice, and it's funny that you guys brought up that it's Heroes-esque, which again I don't think that's an issue. But it actually, my first thought was it feels like they took Shadow's gameplay from 06 and tried to implement some of it, because
that's what I thought too.
There's shades of like Chaos Snap. There's like the homing attack, but the additional attacks afterwards. It made me think of 06 Shadow, like straight up. Which I have always wanted some aspects of that gameplay to come back. So giving this combat to Sonic is fine by me. Again, I'm not that hard to please, and I don't have a giant expectation for like, oh man, he's gonna have DMC level combat. Like, this is a freaking Sonic game. But hopefully there will be like some depth and polish to it. Like Star was saying, if we could do like some actual like combos and stuff, and like skill tree exploration, maybe some like genuine Twitter tech getting figured out, that'll be cool to see.
If the combos end up like something like that's in Unleashed, I think I'd be happy.
Yeah, like
because it's like it's showing the potential that it can be that, but we just don't know yet because of how, like, because they haven't shown like how deep can you go with the combat.
Yeah, I mean it's nice to see that they're trying like to add, you know, something a little bit more, because I mean, as much as like, you know, we like, you know, the other like, you know, like generations and stuff, I mean the combat is basically like you just homing attack something and that's it. So there hasn't really been much depth to it, which I mean for a platformer is usually okay though. So that's, I mean, if this game obviously is a slower paced game since it's exploration, they obviously thought it would be a good idea to put in something that's a little bit more involved than just you know, homing attack spamming. So
yeah, it's always nice to have something more to do than just mashing on homing attack. Aside from that, I guess it really just comes down to, actually, that's kind of the story with Sonic games in general, to be real, is being enamored with the potential, and then you just see if you're disappointed or not come release. Because, like, to be real, every Sonic game in the past decade always has had like some aspects of it that are like pretty cool or could have been expanded upon more. Like even freaking Rise of Lyric had some interesting aspects to it that could have been.
Whoa!
Like
what game? What game?
Rise of Lyric. Like the freaking, because they, in fact,
Rise
like.
of memes?
You can tell they tried to bring in the adventure hub world exploration aspect, having NPCs, missions, things to unlock, puzzles to do, but the game was so freaking rushed that there was just nothing. It was actually a barren world.
No, now you brought that up. Now I immediately hate this game. You just
You
ruined
mean-
it, bro.
Wait,
But
what?
Ronald, do you mean that
Comparing anything to Rise of Ligma is like the worst thing I've ever fucking seen.
No, not
That's
even comparison. I'm talking
man.
about in general. That this has been the story of Sonic for who knows how long. Of there are aspects of potential, and then they get wasted.
So, Ronald,
Yeah.
you say it got rushed. Could you say it got Sonic rushed?
bro.
I should have saw that freaking coming.
Moving on.
But that to
Ignoring that.
clarify,
They Sonic Rush to hit the big red button.
I. That was
God.
Uh, but just.
I'm gonna smack you.
But again, like you have to put your negative bias for some of these games aside. You have to consider that even with the suckiest of Sonic games, there have been aspects that if they had put in the time, or if they decided to take those aspects into their next project, there's good stuff to be had. Which for this game, I'm seeing some things that they at least didn't fully abandon from past games. And we just have to see if this gets executed or not. Again, I'm tempering my expectations because all of the concept of all this has me internally hyped, but I'm keeping it suppressed because again, like with the Sonic game, I don't know what to expect in terms of success anymore, especially with this being their choice of showcase with only potentially 6 months left of development time.
Not even 6. It's like probably 4 because the last 2 months are going to be focused on marketing and. Just
well, that's why I say
packaging the
potentially
game.
because the actual copium is they delay the game.
Well, you guys are saying. Did they say winter 2022?
I said
Yes.
holiday.
Yeah.
Holiday.
It could
Oh,
On their
be,
website,
yeah.
it says it right there.
Yeah,
Mm.
it could be like December maybe. I would
that was
assume
my
November.
Because they would
Most-
if they said. Oh, go on.
Well, I was gonna say Forces, Generations, Colors. They've all released in November. Most
Yeah,
big Sonic
November
games
is like
do.
the
Well,
Sonic
because they
release
always
month.
aim for anniversary games, if not near the anniversary.
Well, just November's a big time for selling because Black Friday and Christmas shopping.
Also
So
true.
that typically that's when they release. Mhm.
That just reminded me. I didn't post in. Did I?
Who the
post
fuck's
it?
on their PS5?
No, you did not.
Oh, I
Oh,
did.
my bad.
Whoops.
Oh my god, somebody's fucking gaming, bro.
No, I just
Oh,
turned it
I
on
am.
so I could so I could just turn it off.
Okay.
But-
Ronald, were we going over like topics, or are we just kind of going off about?
Well,
anything?
I noticed some specific things I would want to go through the gauntlet again and pick you guys' brains about.
Okay.
And I guess this is like a delayed segue because we've been talking about perceptions of things that have the potential to change, but we can't necessarily make the assumption that they will change. So what I would want to go around.
Bless you.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Well, before actually I go around and ask you guys, one other thing I would want to revisit real quick was, actually no, that'll be something I'll ask you guys too, is what you guys think about the perception of, I guess you could say, the overall setting and theme of the game, and what are your judgments from what they've shown so far? Because again, like what I was saying about people saying like, oh, they should have showcased Sonic in a city, or why don't they have Sonic doing X, Y, and Z thing? It's like clearly there's a definitive setting. He's on an island. They have a primary gameplay function in mind of open world and freedom with what I would hope would be your speed and combat. So I guess what I would want you guys to expand on now is what else can you guys gather from what they've shown so far, and what are your hopes for what they have shown? Be it other potential aspects of gameplay, other like things to explore, or the things that we really shouldn't judge yet. See what you gather from there. We can start with Riley.
Yeah. Oh,
Well, you just want to go down on like the Discord call order, so Esteban and me. And
Oh, we'll do that.
Yeah.
Sorry, I've been going off of the podcast. Image.
Oh no,
Because
yeah.
like I'm just going. I was gonna say like, could we please have multiple characters playable? Can I play
No.
as Boy Tails
No.
for one time?
No.
I'm just kidding.
No.
I'm just kidding. Come on.
Oh, bruh.
I was gonna say, are we about to have a 50-50 debate on that? Because
Yeah, if you get all 180 emblems, you can get a Metal Sonic skin.
Nope.
There you go.
Bring
Sick.
back
Bruh,
Classic Sonic.
I'll take
I
that.
would
There you go.
Classic Sonic.
be heated. I would be
Classic Sonic.
salty.
Classic Sonic's the way.
oh my
Uh-huh.
god. Okay, first things first, we're
Wow.
gonna nip that. Classic
gonna-
Sonic better
okay.
not be in this freaking game.
If Classic Sonic's in
not
this
gonna
game,
be
I'm
this-
gonna
no,
fucking
he's not gonna be in this
vasectomize
game.
myself.
Hold on. He's not gonna be in this game because according to a interview from Takashi Iizuka, he said he's not gonna try to make this an anniversary game. So he's definitely not gonna bring back Classic Sonic. That it's too late for an anniversary game. If you're not doing that, then screw that. So
It's too
in my
late.
opinion,
It's
if he puts Classic Sonic in there,
Whoops.
I'm going to Japan, punching him.
like, okay, so
According to a, okay, literally, it's according to a interview.
do you have a link?
Did say, yeah. Let me go back. Just close it.
No
Sources.
Classic Sonic, but
Trust
Boom
me.
Sonic.
Wait, what?
No Classic Sonic, but bring back Boom Sonic in this game.
That'd be an interesting crossover. Well, going back to what we were saying about
Another Rise of Ligma reference in like the span of 10
Rise of
minutes.
no,
I
yeah,
can't
I'm
believe this
calling that from
bullshit.
now on.
Like,
Frick. I lost my-
Ligma, these nuts.
no,
I lost
it's
my
not,
train of
not
thought.
Ligma these nuts. It's Ligma balls.
I like
Fine.
the specific correction. While I try to recall my train of thought, Riley, go ahead and give your thoughts. I'll chime back in a second. There's
Wait,
something I need to
we
address.
were doing the call order, so
Oh wait, right,
Esteban's first.
Esteban.
Yeah,
go
come on.
ahead.
Yeah.
Give me a minute, guys. Okay, what's up?
So the first thing I'd want you guys to just go over is, 'cause since we've been talking about like people's impressions of stuff pertaining to like their presentation of the game, the setting, the very clear direction of gameplay, what are your thoughts on the expectations or what there can be potentially for aspects of gameplay, stuff you'd want to see, and what you feel should and shouldn't be judged so far from the overall structure of the game that they've presented so far.
I mean, I just wanted to be good. That's all I really care about.
Spoken.
Is that so hard to just ask?
Like,
no,
clearly.
Like I have such a after like the last couple of games, like they weren't like the biggest stickers, minus Boom. Like let's be real.
HQ and be like, hey, make it good. All right, Esteban, we got you.
It's just like
say it's like,
Hey,
I
hey,
bet.
This dude's spitting.
it's just like I just wish they wouldn't try to reinvent the wheel sometimes and just like let's just focus on making it fun. That way everybody enjoys it and not have to like throw in some stupid horse shit.
Hold up, Ronald. You got some fucker in your chat. Just adding everyone after everyone was like, "What
Well,
the fuck?"
don't worry about it. Shut up. Just
Okay.
pay attention. Don't worry about it.
Anyways,
Keep going.
yeah, I mean, me personally, I just wanted to be like, just give me a fun game where, like Generations and stuff, like it was just like a good grand old time, and like Unleashed and even Colors, and it's just like, well, Unleashed is like give or take depending, but like because it's not for everybody, but still, I just really want it to have fun and just let it be good and just. I want it to be good enough to where someone will ask me, hey, I want to play a Sonic game. Which one should I play? Oh, you should pick up the newest one. It's a lot of fun. I just want it to be good to where I can recommend it to somebody and not just have to be like, oh, they'll pick up the newest one. It's not good.
So there
And
aren't
they're
any
like, oh.
particular specifics for you. You just want it to be quote unquote good enough for people to want to play it.
Yeah, just like your average person will just be like, I like Sonic, and then they pick it up like, this is fun. Like that's all I'm asking
Way
for,
simpler
you
of an
know?
answer than I thought I would get.
Honestly,
I mean, come on.
I kind of agree with the way he's saying, because like I want a Sonic game that just feels like when I'm done with it, I had a good old fun adventure, and it doesn't feel like I feel empty, but it feels like this was one heck of a this is like most of the Sonic games like Sonic Black Knight, Sonic Unleashed, Sonic especially Sonic Advance 3, the first ending, not the extra ending, but those games made me feel like, yeah, this was a fun adventure, and I'm sad to see it end right now, but I'm hoping I'll always come back to it. It's a game I'll always come back to when I want to. You know, I want that kind of feeling again. Granted, it may not happen, or it may be very minuscule, but I will love to see that happen. You know? So I kind of agree with what he's saying. Like, give me a Sonic game that makes me feel like, yo, this was an adventure right here. I wouldn't care if I don't get, you know, the multiple characters. If they're never going to give me that. I've long since given up on it, but I still want it. But you know,
Yeah.
I'm
I mean-
sorry for Kickstarter.
What did it start? Oh, did you
Nothing,
post something?
gosh dang it. But
Oh,
no,
he's going off.
this is why I'm surprised you guys are giving a more general thing of, hey, I want a good game. I thought y'all had like specifics, but again, when it comes to like story, that's something that
Ronald, it's hard to have specifics when they've not had a good home run. Let's be real.
I mean,
I want a Sonic
guess.
story, a decent Sonic story like Unleashed.
yeah,
or something.
which with story, to be fair, it is understandable to have zero expectation for story because the games have let me personally down in terms of story multiple times over the past few years.
I heard through the grapevine that they
That's
got
how-
new
that's how.
people they got new writers, but I don't know if that's confirmed or
Wait,
not.
new writers
Uh,
since
Yeah, they
when?
have
And the writers
uh,
for
Uh,
this,
IDW
Flynn?
Comics.
Ian Flynn.
Ian Flynn.
So they got the people who did the comics
That's how.
Yeah.
Yeah.
to do the game write this game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
yeah,
People are writing
then
the
I think the
story.
writing should be pretty good then if that's the case.
Well, we'll see.
This
right?
guy really did okay for Sonic Forces. I would say compared to Sonic Unleashed, not Sonic Unleashed, Sonic Hello Tao, Bye Tao, compared to Sonic Lost World, you know, I say its writing was a little better. Granted, it was still too bad. It was bad, but still, at least it was better than what happened with Lost World or even Colors, in my opinion. So,
For Lost World.
like the story for Lost World wasn't as fun. Isn't really.
Well, I'm trying to remember what they even
Uh,
did for story with Lost World. They tried to do a little bit of character development with Sonic, Tails, and Eggman. It
It,
had its
there was
moments,
some good-
yes.
Some good character moments, but some decisions and like story, and the story was pretty bad. And the
yeah.
Tails
I
like
was watching like a Saturday morning cartoon, basically.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah,
is
and-
actually the direction they've gone with the humor and whatnot since Sonic Colors.
yeah.
For better
But-
or worse.
Well, I guess I'll go. I think we were there. I don't know.
Right.
um,
My bad.
Well,
no, you're-
actually,
you're-
yeah,
you're
you might as
fine.
well, because Esteban kind of summed this up in a very
yeah.
simple
No, it's good. You know, we just bounce around to different people. That's how it is. So like, I mean, obviously, I want this game to be good. I mean, I'm not going in hoping it's bad, but you know, given what you know I've seen, my expectations are definitely waning. You know, I think I guess best case scenario is that this game, the tasks that you do and your like goal in the open world is maybe a little bit more interesting than what they've shown off. Obviously, I would assume that there's going to be like missions or something that maybe you can do, like side missions, collectibles, just something going on that just makes exploring a little bit more interesting than what they're sort of showing off now, which just sort of seems to be walking around doing nothing. Because I mean, like, if you're showing off like you know, like Grand Theft Auto or something, and you're just like walking around and not like getting into a car or shooting anything or going into stores or whatever the case is, that game would seem pretty boring too. But given what, you know, I'm looking at with the world and everything, it's hard to think that there's going to be too much interesting stuff going on unless, you know, right, maybe they'll have like characters who give you missions or something, like Tails or Amy or whatever can give you like a mission to go mess around and stuff. So I mean, I'm optimistic, and right, like I said earlier that I would like to see, right, if there's gonna be actual levels in the game. One would have to hope so. I mean, again, it feels like it can't just be this. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. So I would like to see just something a little bit more, right? But again, at the same time, right, the speculation can only go so far if they really are going to be releasing a new piece of, like, you know, info every day for this game. But given that they've already dropped 3 trailers for it, I mean, unless they just have like a trailer every day, which I kind of doubt.
Yeah, that'd be kind of wild. A trailer every day for like
yeah,
long? 2 months?
Cool.
It would be interesting, but I don't think that's going to be the case. And given, you know, the first trailer that they showed off only showed content that was for these next 2 trailers that they already dropped for the exploration and combat trailers. I'm assuming that there's going to be no more at this point, or if there are any more, maybe they'll release it on like the 23rd for Sonic's birthday, or, you know, the end of the month. I'm not sure. Like if there is like a big like level, you know, like, hey, look, we got, you know, Unleashed style levels back or whatever the fuck, right?
Yeah.
Like, but one would assume that they would have put that in the initial trailer that they showed off. So the fact that it's not there is making me be like, okay, well, maybe this just simply is not gonna be shown off now, or is not in the game, because that's the only thing I could really think of, you know. So yeah, again, like, not a lot to say, right? If we're talking about like story, I mean, I'm sure the story will be fine, hopefully, since, you know, they got the IDW writer for this, so that's good. And Ian also, I think, did work on the Sonic movie too, so that's it's good to see that they're bringing in a lot of the same like people who have been proven time and time again that they can, you know, handle the series and handle the characters and respect it very well, that they're bringing them back into, you know, roles, especially with like Sonic Team roles, which as we've seen, you know, Sonic Team is sort of like been closed off from everything, so it's nice to see that they're bringing in outside talent. Although, yes, a lot of the people that are working on the game are still the same people that have worked on like Forces and such. I just, you know, a better direction is really what I think needs to be said here. But I will say, like, just given what I've seen so far, like, you know, I'm not super excited for it, and I'll just be honest. Like, that's just sort of where I'm at. So I just hope that there are things that'll, you know, news that'll come out that'll change my mind, that'll make me a little bit more hyped. So, you know, we'll see, right? So, yeah.
Like I said, if I could see like the story, like more of the story for like a trailer, I would probably, depending on how good that trailer is, I might be excited for it. You know, that's kind of what I want to know, is more of the story, and just,
Yeah.
you know, see more, like, if they're gonna have somebody do the gameplay, or rather like someone like be really good at it too, like give us, like, the way they're doing it is like they're lightly tapping into just the game, and they should just be like, you know what, screw it, we're just going full on speed, you know, or something like that. Also,
Well, maybe like what they've shown off is like,
To go more in depth about what you can do with the gameplay.
Yeah,
actual breakdown
right.
or whatever.
Yeah, like
I mean, what they've
breakdown.
showed off, the game is more slow. Like, it's just feeling it's just a more slow game. So I mean, there's lots of stuff like in the world, but, you know, they don't really show off you continuously like boosting and running around, and even
Well, I
if
mean,
you
like,
could, like how much
not
could
like
you,
that.
right?
Right, I'm like talking about more like momentum, like, you know.
Momentum, yeah.
Well, it's
Yeah, the
reminding me of
momentum.
Lost World, until you realize that you can do that exploit with the spin dash, where you do the spin dash, you hold it down, and you jump, and then you land, and you keep spinning. Like, because if you don't know how to do that in Lost World, the Lost World's not fast. This feels like it has shades of that a little bit. Wait, what?
I remember in the leak, apparently it said that there was like a run button, but I have no idea if that's the case. Like Lost World, because
I hear.
I'm thinking like there's no way, but then at the same time it showed that Sonic was like walking slowly, and I'm like, okay, what the fuck?
So if there's a run button and then like a dash button.
There
Absolutely no idea.
Sidestep as well, cause
yeah, I saw sidestep
still
too.
There. Well, it could be like Lost World, right? Where the run button was what, like the trigger or something, and then they can still have the boost as square X as whatever, because Forces didn't have the drift anymore, so that used to be mapped to the triggers. So if they're not gonna have the drift in this game, which would suck.
I want open world drifting. Would be freaking sick.
That would be.
Can't do it. Forces took it out. Can't do it.
What if it's on
Screw Forces. No,
hold
on. This is
wait,
not
what if that isn't a skill
Unlockable
tree?
skill.
That would be legit.
Skill tree, bruh.
I don't know. I am looking at the game so far, and if you've played PSO2 NGS, I think it's clear to see that. I think that they've just fallen back on saying that because if you remember some of the early things they were saying about the game is that they're redefining Sonic almost. Truthfully, from what I've seen, it seems like they're just throwing out
Was
speed.
that something they were saying? I might need more interview links.
I just remember some of the early reveals. It sounded like they were kind of hinting that they wanted to like redefine what the Sonic franchise can be, and that might mean that they're trying to make it a combat-focused, slower-paced platformer. And I mean, the comparisons of things that we've seen that look similar to PSO2 might mean that this is kind of drifting in the direction of being more PSO2-like than Sonic-like.
In fact, I'm gonna bring up this. Well, you guys keep talking. I'm gonna bring up this.
I feel like they should just go back to. I would like them to go back to the adventure roots, if anything. Like, it doesn't have to be like Tails, Knuckles gameplay, but like Sonic's gameplay of the adventure, the adventure days, and like go back to those roots to see where they could go and work from there. If anything, like go back to the adventure.
I think the story matters. What they're trying to do here more than anything, truthfully.
That's what I think. Going back to like it could be serious, but not edgy.
But
not super edgy.
I'm back to PSO2. I'm afraid that they're almost going to run into the same story problem that PSO2 has right now.
Which one are we talking about?
NGS.
Vanilla? Oh, NGS. What happened
NGS?
with NGS?
Well, right now, like the enemy force we're fighting is like, oh, it's just a drove collective of mindless enemies. We don't like really have a villain right now, and I mean, I'm kind of scared of that with what we've seen.
Well, we're going back into the whole thing of we're stuck in a wait and see in terms of story aspect, because like this could be the typical monster of the week stuff with Eggman, where he obtains control of some kind of entity, wreaks havoc with that entity, it goes out of control, and then you get the ending friendship stuff. But we haven't seen any Eggman, we haven't seen anything talked about this island, or the implications of whatever hive mind this is, or whatever the whispering is with like Sonic in the trailer. All we can do is speculate.
Speaking of the Eggman thing, so in the open world, there's like these like red spaceships, or just like parts of a spaceship or whatever laying around. Apparently someone was tried zooming in, and it's like, it looked like there's like a symbol on it that looks vaguely similar to Eggman's.
If I had to take a guess,
I mean, I'm sure Eggman is the villain. Yeah.
Yeah, like there's no way Eggman's not at least
I'm
in
not
this game.
sure. I'm not sure. If I had to make a theory so far, it almost looks like you might be correct with Eggman trying to take control of some force or something. But from what I've seen, it almost looks like Eggman tried to control something that he couldn't, and now we're left in the ruins of his failure almost. That's just the vibe I'm getting.
I thought
this is a world where Eggman fucked up or something, and like
maybe
something's gone wrong, and like now this force is loose or something, or this collective that he was trying to control is now rampant because he unleashed it or something, and he couldn't control it. So now I don't know, but just based on the track record of PSO2 NGS so far, I don't know what Sega's doing with their writing right now. They're kind of into this thing of like these enemy forces that are just droves of things without like a personality behind the villain almost.
Well, for the
my only rebuttal for that is why would the story of NGS2 be involved, or the aspect of how the writing is involved with that be involved with that when they have the IDW comic writers doing it?
I thought you guys said the PSO2 team is also on this too, or some remnants.
That's more gameplay, I think.
They're probably working on like environmental stuff.
That's gameplay.
Yeah, they're probably
because it does feel like
I think the only thing that team is working on is just a lot of the heavy lifting environmental stuff at the end of the day.
Right.
I think combat of it too.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Because this is very clearly taking some inspiration. Sonic's moveset is taking inspiration from Jet Boots and base game PSO2, it looks like almost.
Yeah, if you replaced him with an anime grill, I mean, it would be the same fucking game, for real.
Wait, like,
I posted a GIF in Discord where somebody just... No, did you watch the GIF I sent you, Sonic? I mean, B-Boy?
Yeah,
look at the GIF I sent in Discord.
Where's
General chat? General chat, I think? Look at that GIF.
The one with...
But real quick, Riley, what were you gonna say before? I want to make sure we don't lose that.
When we were talking about the story, remember the Game Award trailer that came out last year, he goes through like a portal, right, or some shit. I think people were speculating it could be either cross dimension or time travel. I think we talked about this actually
Sonic
before.
has done that before.
Yeah, so it could be. I mean, definitely. I mean, it's not like this island. You know, it looks pretty timeless, so you couldn't really tell if it's meant to be like, you know,
well, maybe it's like
or something.
Bad future Sonic CD, and you have to go back in time.
No, that would be cool. That would be cool. That'd be kind of cool, going back in time and stuff. I kind of like.
I kind of want them to avoid time shenanigans again, but I don't know.
You can.
Bro, dude, it's like the multiverse of madness, man. This is just a different multiverse.
So honestly, I don't know how that would work.
Yeah,
I don't know. I kind of do. I kind of see with the
multiverse of madness. Eggman scrambled his eggs.
Don't count his chicken.
I'm trying to figure out.
Sonic goes to Morbius world.
Sonic goes to
Morbid time.
Oh, dude, Morbius, and he goes to Mobius from Morbius.
The crossover we clearly need.
Yo, that's sick.
Hey, Tails! You know what? Where are you? I'm morbid right now.
Oh,
Morbid
dang,
time,
I didn't
Tails.
realize the similarity. That's funny.
What the morb are you talking about?
Or this PSO2 comparison.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it does.
Which again,
Actually,
I immediately thought of 06 Shadow, and now that you guys pointed out Heroes, like I see those similarities even more. But this, like, I don't doubt this being the foundation of Sonic's combat. Also,
honestly, to be honest, I'm kind of okay with the combat. I kind of do feel like it's slow right now, but I do kind of like I do kind of like that.
PSO2 combat is solid. I mean, if you look at PSO2 NGS, one of the few things that everybody agrees on right now is like, yeah, the combat system's good.
yeah, like even me trying basic combat. But then again, I'm like I said, I'm not that hard to impress with gameplay.
I mean,
but
there's a
I
lot
like
of
the
other
combat.
problems.
But
There's a lot of other problems with PSO2, ranging from gear disparity, making it to where it's hard to balance content that's hard for people that are geared and also possible for people that don't go that hard on their gear.
You mentioned that with me
And
hopping into it. But you
yeah,
got to think about it in terms of like taking that foundation and putting it onto Sonic. It's not like a terrible thing to do. And like this is something me and Michael XOF have brought up numerous times, where like we have seen the combat be explored, like or combat abilities of Sonic and the cast be explored before, but just not implemented enough in the mainline games. They can do more with it. And if there's like if there's a skill tree rumored, there's like they could take like the whole progression of like combos in Sonic Unleashed with the Werehog for all I care. Like you can expand on this and polish it. It's just a question of will they?
I don't think anybody's
Knuckles on there.
I don't think anybody's going to complain about combat being interesting. It's just that if that's all they focus on and the game doesn't have any identity of speed gameplay, I think that's what people are going to get hung up on.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that if this combat style of gameplay is what they hyper invest into and the speed gets left by the wayside and it doesn't feel like a Sonic game, people are going to be like, well, it's a Phantasy Star game with Sonic's name is slapped on it.
Sonic is basically well, originally its concept was basically you going fast and having momentum, because like of how like Mario's
Sonic started out as Mario but faster, but has transitioned into execution of carrying your momentum and like well-timed jumps and stuff.
That's exactly it.
But there's also the burnout aspect. Like, you guys have all played Burnout, right? Where the easiest thing you can do to make this feel quote-unquote fast is if you want to have the open world exploration but still have speed, just take off or like make the top maximum speed mad freaking high. Like, if we're gonna be having this world exploration, I want to be able to go to like Burnout levels of the screen is blurring, I can't see where I'm going. I'm pretty sure if you make it to that level of fast, people will at least be able to say in their reviews, Sonic is fast again, yay. And then it's just a question of how well you polish that gameplay. But that's the easiest fix, is just take off the limiters of how fast Sonic can go. Because again, this looks kind of fast. It's a little, the speed is there in moments, in bursts. But again, this might be a gameplay.
This map doesn't look that big though, for like to go like that fast.
To go like
I mean,
Burnout fast.
Yeah. I mean, if we're talking about like normal like boost
unless
speed,
you can run across the ocean,
which would be crazy.
Yo, that'd be
that
insane.
Would be crazy. But like, I don't think, again, like I'm pretty sure like this is what we're looking at. This is it. Like, this is what we're getting. Which again, like if we're talking about the breakneck speed. Well, yeah, it could be delayed, but they're not fucking doing that. It already got delayed a year. Come on, dog.
Let's have the hopium, bro.
No, that was a fucking cope-ass post. Just now, you fucking like, oh my god. People are like, oh, they should delay it again. They're not fucking delaying it again,
That's
man.
the most copium I can have, is a delay. But outside of that, the expectations are tempered.
It feels like it's gonna be like Dak, it feels like. Honestly, I would like to see it be very momentum based.
Let me go back, because I'm trying to.
Okay. No, I'm just gonna say this real quick because you keep bringing up a good point with the momentum. If this game did not have the boost and controlled more like an adventure game, people would automatically be way more on this shit, like way more.
Probably.
Given like what it is, because the fact that it's still like this, like kind of forces like boost style, but we're going like slow instead of fast. That wasn't exactly like the boost styles like forte. Like whenever we controlled like an Unleashed when you're going slow, or Generations when you're going like slower, it's not like the worst thing in the world, but it's definitely like the game is sort of meant to get you're picking yourself back up to get back up to that speed.
Yeah.
But obviously with the adventure games, that they were more slower, methodically paced games.
Platforming, exploration.
I would be way more on board with this game right now if the world was, you know, of a similar size and maybe, you know, the level design was more dense because everything is still very open. If like if it was controlling in an adventure way, oh man, I
Well,
just
wait,
made
that makes me question then, would your expectations for this be different if there was no boost?
well, I mean, if it was the exact same thing we're looking at now, it just didn't have like that weird like dash boost thing, I would still feel the same. But if this like, you know, world gameplay, here we go, and then it shows like Sonic like spin dashing and then like rolling up an incline and carrying his momentum and stuff, I would be like, oh fuck. Yeah, I would have been like that. It would have been a much different vibe.
Interesting.
Just because yeah, I mean, if they
loud.
were going for this slow-paced gameplay, again, unless this is a hub world that leads to the traditional boost stuff, I actually don't know why they didn't do an adventure style. If they were really going for this like exploration, slower paced, you know, look at your environment, collectibles, you know, stuff like that. I'm not really sure why they didn't go in that route.
Well,
This
because
game doesn't feel adventure-like at all.
Well, yeah, the level design. I mean, this is like really open. Like, there's just a lot of like nothingness around. I think that's why a lot of people are also not on board with it. Like, if this map maybe just had more to it.
2160?
PSO2 has that problem as well, which is why, yeah. Like, at PSO2 you went open world with NGS, and it was like, okay, cool. Now, give us a reason why the open world was a good idea.
Well,
And they've been struggling with that. That's all I was gonna say.
Well, I'm saying the reason I'm saying this is an interesting take is because, and like comparing it to adventure, is because in in an in an environment where your goal is to get from point A to point B, uh, to be frank, whether you have a spin dash or a boost, it's the same functionally, where you're using a burst of speed to get go through faster. But unless we're going into the aspects of like being in a ball lets you build momentum going downhill and whatnot. But again, you can do that without a spin dash. You can do that with just the general physics of the game. But
Or lack thereof.
exactly. well, but part of what's interesting is that when I see this world, and the reason I keep trying to choose my words carefully, where this doesn't feel slow. There's aspects of speed, but I'm trying to imagine, like, would you really want to traverse all of this without any bursts of speed at all? Like, that would feel way less quote unquote, or that would feel more not Sonic than this.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I think like I feel like there's gonna be like two sort of like design philosophies here, where if we're talking about like an adventure style, you know, right, like I would want something to be maybe more densely packed, but if we're talking about something like this, which is more boost style, you know, maybe the open type of stuff is a little bit more preferable, just so you have a little bit more room to run around with the higher speed. But I think what I was more so referring to, if we're talking about like the differences between the two and why I would feel more partial to one over the other for this type of style, I think would have to do with like physics, just because for sandboxes like this, I think it, you know, especially with something with like Sonic, you know, it's fun to sort of like mess around sometimes in levels and just, you know, see what kind of like crazy shit you can do. And with, you know, physics and momentum and things like that, there's a level of unpredictability that sort of comes with it. Like, I'm just going to spin dash here and I'm just going to hold down and I'm going to see what happens, right? Like,
Yeah.
that's something that could happen in this, where it's like, I'm just going to like spin dash down here, down this hill, and I'm just going to let the momentum carry me where it may. And I might go off a ramp and other stuff. That's something that I could feel where if I was exploring, I would feel a lot more inclined to actually just want to just mess around. But given that it seems that they're going for more of a forces where type of gameplay where it's a little bit more stilted, a little bit more it's hard to describe it. I went really in depth with my Forces review on like the shift of momentum when you hold the control stick. The things are very like like partition with like your zones of speed. Like you have like a very
slow
apparent. You have like a very apparent like way your character sort of picks up like acceleration in Forces, and from what I'm seeing, it's fairly similar. It's kind of hard to say because just right, they're kind of like going pretty slow most of the gameplay demonstration.
Rather than like on acceleration.
Question.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't exactly watch all the gameplay, but during combat in the gameplay, did Sonic ever do anything like a sidestep that like I framed an attack and then unleashed a counterattack afterwards?
Like a dodge?
Like a dodge, like Nier Automata style almost. Did anything like that?
He does this sidestep roll.
You can do the sidestep.
I frame through something and counterattack after.
I don't know. He's away from it. This looks like the unleashed sidestep actually, where if you're not going fast, it's just a roll.
Yeah, it's like a cartwheel.
Yeah, this is just straight up unleashed sidestep.
But it's not like a dodge. It's not like a Bayonetta dodge. What you're saying.
Because if I see something like that, I'm just instantly labeling it Phantasy Star Online 2 New Genesis Sonic Edition.
Honestly, a dodge would actually be kind of interesting, or a parry of some sort. That would be Sonic with a parry. You'll
see that.
I don't think CS2 elements is a bad thing. It's just that when traversing between combat scenarios, I think people want to see, like this kind of physics engine of like, oh, you can pick up momentum and lose momentum and do different moves that can gain momentum and home in, like, I don't know.
Sorry, that wind kick is so freaking cool. But that's actually an aspect that I've thought about in game design was, wait, what?
That air kick that I saw a picture of, is that like out of a dash you attack and you like slide?
It's like he just does it. It's like a. Oh, also I just realized I didn't even have the thing on. My bad.
Because that looks very close to an animation.
Yeah, it's like.
No. I mean like him. Is there like him dashing and using an attack where it's just like his foot's out and he just slides forward almost with a big kick?
Well, like a dive kick? Yeah, he is.
No, like a sliding kick.
Like a whoever was playing didn't show it off.
Okay.
So
I'm just trying to see how many like.
The dive kick looks like it's like just preset.
Yeah,
like it's
again, there's a bunch of like dynamic
like
camera angle things that seem like they're set abilities or something.
Yeah, it looks like the thing you probably have the most like creativity with is that like weird spin, like circle thing that you can do. Because I guess like you.
Whatever.
Yeah. According to that leak, it's called the spin cycle. I'm not really sure if that's actually what they're calling it, but.
I think the combat ideas are interesting. They do just need to make sure that the game has solid speed-based platforming. And if they pull that off, they have a decent game on it.
I can keep them in check, but not for long. That'll work. I'll find Shadow and be back in no time.
I mean, but as what I've seen so far, I foresee a situation where you have, like, somebody needs to turn on their deafening. Or put that on through a real bot if they're trying to share it.
Oh, your porn's on.
Terrible.
What?
You didn't mute it. You didn't mute it.
Anyway, but
well, I was gonna say this is something that I've actually thought about design-wise for a game that I want to make eventually, of being able to successfully have execute a transition between fast speed progression into like focused combat and being able to seamlessly go back and forth between that. I wonder if they will achieve that.
I think games like Nier Automata already have.
You don't go fast in Nier Automata.
But transitioning from traversal and smooth movement around an environment into combat.
Well, it's because
like
the gameplay doesn't really change, and she doesn't reach speeds to where you would even run into that issue. Because you have you dodge, you run, which I have liked traversing in Nier Automata, but I've tried to imagine like if 2B could like go at Sonic speed, and then you like charge into an enemy, and then boom, you're in like more focused combat. Like, what does that transition look like? How do you achieve that?
Actually, just thinking of this, this is almost like pure and like speculation realm. But if this game does have like Unleashed style levels, I'm actually a bit interested to see how they'll incorporate this combat into it without being a major pace breaker. Because given what they are showing, it seems each individual enemy takes a lot more, definitely a lot more abuse than the normal just homing attack once and death. Badniks that they've had up to this point. So I guess it would be interesting to see what they would do if that is, you know, the route they end up going.
They might have an HP bar.
Ideally, I think you'd want a mix of
like
mid bosses and trash mobs, where trash mobs can be spin dashed and one hit to death, and then you have like mid type enemies that need some degree of at least a few hits of combat and learning an attack pattern to deal with. Like,
so Sonic Heroes.
Yeah. They had the one hit kill enemies in the combat trailer too. They were like near like the midway point or something.
Yeah, I did see that.
Yeah, there were like those like tiny enemies that you just need to do like one attack on and they're dead. So yeah, so that, I mean, that's cool to see. Like that they'll still have that, right? They'll have like different levels of enemies. So yeah, I guess it would be maybe like Heroes, but then again, right? If we're talking about that, you know, there's the, you know, Heroes is a inherently slower paced game.
Yeah, more of a platformer,
than
honestly.
than Unleashed and Generations were. So if they really are doing the same gameplay style again, I'm just curious, you know, how is this gonna flow? And if that really is what they're doing, I'll just be honest, I don't really know if Sonic Team has it in them.
If they accomplish it, I'm gonna copy paste that idea in the future. If they don't accomplish it, then it's like I said, it's an idea that I myself have wanted to explore.
This is why I kind of wish that they went like an indie adventure sort of formula way, just because I feel like a lot of my complaints would sort of be subsided by the fact that, you know, that the design philosophy of those games were inherently a little bit more like, you know, not as breakneck as what the Boost era was. So we will see. But maybe, you know, they're trying to make the gameplay less Boost-like, just because, you know, in general, you know, we only saw that little tiny like air dash thing, or it's not air dash, but like on the ground.
Wait, hold up.
Oh shit! Do you see that dodge?
Yeah.
Wait.
Okay, Nick, that might be a dodge. He just does a straight up backflip.
Yeah. What the fuck? I never saw that.
I didn't notice
is it a backflip after a flurry of kicks?
Well, no, because he's walking up to an enemy, and then it's like not like the typical side roll. It's like a freaking backflip.
Yeah, it's like a major dodge.
Yeah.
Okay.
So maybe it actually does have a dodge.
Yo, if he has a slowdown feature, it's over. If he has witch time.
If he has witch time, that'd be freaking sick.
Yeah,
that is
I
a
need to
straight
get
up
you to play
dodge.
PSO2 again.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
Dude, that's an actual dodge, and there was a bit of a slowdown.
Oh yeah.
I
Okay.
didn't freaking notice this before.
I didn't even write that down.
Yeah, that's legit. That is legit.
Wow, that animation actually looks okay. Maybe they spent most of their budget on that.
Well, I've been wanting good combat. Yeah, that is
fair,
freaking dodge.
If PSO2 is anything to go off of, animations are actually somewhat of a late priority for Sega game development.
Concerning.
Well, I mean, people have data mined things in PSO2 that are like supposed to come out in a month, and they're like, "There's no animation for this," and like they've literally they've shown off like in class previews where it's like, "Oh yeah, this class is coming out in a month and a half," and it's like, "What the hell is this animation doing?" And it's like, "This is so jank. Why does it look like that?" Like you just see clear errors, and then the class comes out and you see their attacks. You're like, "Oh, everything's okay." So
waiting for the day one. I'm waiting for the day one patch that says fixes Sonic's T-pose super.
So as the PSO2 player, I wouldn't be too afraid of animations being final, personally.
Right.
I mean, again, though, 6 months, like, it's not a long time.
Can we appreciate that Sonic is fighting is doing is fighting a giant robot, something that should have been in Sonic freaking Forces.
There's a lot of
He's
things
fighting-
from Sonic Forces, but yeah.
There should have been quality in that game.
Dang.
But yes, I
Quality the
agree.
Hedgehog?
I agree
Quality
with
the Hedgehog.
He's fighting the Horizon Zero Dawn fucking like big thing.
Honestly,
I'm sorry,
that's-
just like-
hey, so my cousin, who's a casual, like, just gamer and everything else, like, he's not really like a Sonic fan or anything, but like I showed. So usually whenever he's watching like IGN stuff, he'll like be like, hey yo, there's like a Street Fighter video or there's like a Sonic or whatever. Just sometimes shows me his stuff. So he told me that he was kind of curious to see what the Sonic game, what the new Sonic game was and everything else, and so he saw the gameplay and he was like, oh yeah, this is definitely like Horizon Sonic or something.
Horizon Sonic Dawn.
Horizon.
I think that's too big of a praise to give it up. I
I-
think associating with Horizon is a praise that it hasn't yet deserved.
We can see if they can impress us, but again, it all comes back to the foundation and potential is there, and we just have to see if they deliver. Like these concepts aren't too far-fetched, and they work for a Sonic game. Again, I wouldn't think it'd be such a weird, controversial, or hot take that Sonic shouldn't be like, or that Sonic should be like in an open world or have combat. Like, are these things people really think like can't be in a Sonic game?
No, honestly, I could see those concepts being in a Sonic game. You know, they got Mario punches things in Mario 64 for crying out loud. So I could see Sonic doing the same thing in a freaking Sonic game.
Sonic's been in 1.5 fighting games. Combat is not foreign to Sonic characters. Which
Yeah, exactly.
semi-segues to what you guys mentioned about other characters. Because when you mention rumors / confirmation about other characters, my expectation of other characters being playable and having combat is very low. And I'm more so imagining that it's like Sonic Unleashed, where the characters are there for story interaction, more so than
Right.
gameplay.
I think,
would-
especially, sorry, because this is just a quick thing I'll say is, just because they already said that this is supposed to be sort of like a, semi-reboot, like soft reboot sort of thing. They said like,
as they called it.
well, they were saying like if this game does well, this might be the way Sonic games might go in the future. Highly likely that it's gonna just be Sonic this time around and just Sonic. I think they're trying to just get this one thing right. So
They have been trying to do that with Sonic gameplay for quite a while.
Yeah, well, they always add in like classic Sonic or fucking Whis or whatever. It's like this is just Sonic, right? So hopefully, that's what.
Like trying to pimp out your ride while it still needs engine work.
Yeah.
Like, yo,
I
dude,
just-
look at my
like I
ride.
said,
Oh, can you drive it?
they
No.
if they put DLC in the future where they have add some playable characters, or like you could play as someone like Tails.
I was gonna say, be
I'm
careful
fine.
what you wish for when you
I
get
won't
quote unquote
actually-
Shadow
no, never mind.
DLC and it's just a reskin.
No, we don't need Shadow. Screw Shadow. He doesn't need to
Well,
be.
now
a
hold on.
Whoa, whoa,
Yeah,
whoa,
hold
whoa,
on
whoa,
there.
whoa, 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 whoa.
Now that is a
Oh,
take.
Dude, Shadow?
Nah. I'm not really saying that, but I'm just like, just don't have him be a reskin of Sonic.
Yeah, like if you bring in any Sonic character to be playable, their gameplay should be unique, and/or they should have a reason to be there in the story. Which goes back to what we said about classic Sonic. He gets shoehorned in for all the wrong reasons, and it's not even executed well. Like, he didn't need to be there in Forces at all. So,
No.
if you bring in other characters to be playable, it needs to be executed properly.
It's like Shadow
We
Skin.
like Sonic Adventures 1 and 2, and Sonic, and probably Sonic Heroes as well.
Even Heroes,
But-
and again, Riley might see this, but even some aspects of 06, where
Huh?
you see the potential of what can be explored with other characters' gameplay. Well, actually, 06 and literally one aspect from Rise of Ligma.
What aspect of Rise from Ligma?
I like the idea.
The Knuckles
of...
pause glitch?
No, stop it. I honestly have loved the idea of when Amy's gameplay, when Amy gets her own gameplay, like emphasizing a cool acrobatic aspect. Like for some reason, the idea of Amy having a freaking triple jump is kind of sick to me.
Even the Sonic Minecraft crossover gave Amy more mobility.
Like, yo, Minecraft, join my server?
These are things you can do with the character's gameplay and make it unique. There's been aspects time and again across multiple games that Sega has been able, that they could have held on to, which is what I'm seeing a bit with this game. There are aspects that it seems like they weren't entirely abandoned, or I'm wrong, and they are just straight up doing all PSO2 inspiration. Who knows?
PSO2 is doing well for them.
If they made the multiple characters like Advance or something, where they more or less have the same like speed and physics and such, but they just have sort of like a couple of unique things about them, I think that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, work.
Yeah.
And actually, in Discord, Star, didn't you do like a general outline of what they'd be able to do with like the exploration of the world and giving each character like their role?
Yeah, basically. Yeah, so basically what I was saying was that like, okay, so if they do end up doing multiple characters, I feel like it would fit perfectly with the whole open world thing, because it'd be like, there's like, this area that Sonic can't reach normally, so that means, you might have to switch to Tails, and Tails is gonna have to fly all the way up there to reach this platform. Or like, say there's just this massive boulder or rocks or like stuff that Sonic can't break normally, okay, then maybe you're gonna have to switch to Knuckles, and he's gonna have some punching stuff. Maybe like one of the puzzles is, Knuckles has to dig underground, or you just find something that's hidden underground. And then it's like, with Amy, it's like, okay, like there could be like some gimmick with her stuff as well. So.
Bring back her invisibility that she had for some reason.
Invisibility, or she could
she has invisibility in 06?
Yeah, she
does.
invisible. So
for
give
no
her some stealth missions. There you go.
I guess.
You give her a stealth mission where she's stalking Sonic. There you go.
I mean,
or bring in Cream and just let her have a full army of Chow. Just command a whole army.
Actually, let her. If
PSO2
summoner.
Cream is gonna be the Pikmin gameplay.
Yo.
Yes, I love it. I would love it.
All right, who do I contact at Sega? This is great ideas.
Write that down. No, but honestly, if Cream is there just for the Chow Garden, like she's just there to go be like, hey, this is gonna be there.
If this game has a Chow Garden, I take back everything I said so far. 10 out of 10. You guys did it. Thank you.
In fact, before we go on to too much stuff, in fact, I'm sorry, EOL. We kind of were going in order, and then we bounced around addressing certain things. But before we harp on too much other specifics, or maybe this would be a good segue into other topics, EOL, was there anything else you had on your mind in terms of expectation, or things that you either hope for, or things that you feel like may even not even need to be judged just yet, and kind of just see? What are you thinking?
Expectations, I hope it is good, and that's about it.
Alright, well.
Yo, he's spitting.
It looks really bad. I just want to, like, off the back of, like, things that I didn't think could work with, like, open world games, maybe this will just be another one of those examples, and then I'll be like, dang, I like Sonic and open world, and they put them all together, and it's sick, let's go.
Yeah, like,
but
again, I don't think, I really wouldn't think that it's something that should be considered outside of the realm of possibility, unless they fumble the bag that hard. That would be insane.
So the idea of Sonic running around in an open world is not a foreign concept, but considering, like, Sonic games that I've played, at least, I haven't played all the Sonic games, but every Sonic game I've played has not been open world in any way, shape, or form. In fact, it is very linear, and you just go relatively forward, and then you get to the end as fast as possible, and that's about it.
Yeah, the amount
this
of
is such a
open world
departure.
stuff is more so well, there have been mainline games, obviously, but I guess it's more so been explored in fan game stuff, and with usually high praise, honestly, from what I've seen.
Fan game, but I'll take your word for it.
But
That's not true. I played Sonic Mania, huh?
You're right. Yeah, so like that's why for me personally, it's I would think that like this is such an easy like what Critical said, this is such an easy layup for Sega. You really shouldn't be able to fumble it this bad.
I don't think it's that easy, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I guess so.
I'll say this much more. It reminded me of Breath of the Wild in the worst way possible. Breath of the Wild would be in. Yeah, no, Breath of the Wild's not perfect, and let me tell you what I mean. Breath of the Wild is like, if you're just out there in the world, like in the field, it's very boring. Like there's not a lot going on. Occasionally you like find something, but like maybe it's like some boring ass like enemy or something like that. But like you gotta travel a decent bit to like get to an interesting spot. More often than not, I found in Breath of the Wild, it felt like there was a lot of empty space, and Sonic felt like it had a lot of empty space, and that's crazy because Sonic be out here running really fast, and there's still a lot of empty space, and I'm like, okay, well, we'll see what happens with that.
Well,
you know what they gotta do?
Go
They gotta find a way to harness the energy of swinging when you play Spider-Man.
Yeah.
They gotta make running around. They just gotta make running around fun. It's not like you go run around for hours upon hours, but you gotta do that. Oh, well, to be fair, I was deafened a lot. I'm not even gonna lie.
Oh no, not even this. I'm talking about like the other day. The one thing that I kept thinking was I was thinking back to Spider-Man, where at the end of the day, even if people say like the world is barren, there's not much to do, you can rectify that in two ways. Again, either you go burnout status and you make him just able to just blitz the island stupidly fast, or you just make travel itself fun. Like I could go turn on Spider-Man right now and I don't even know if I have missions left to do or whatever. I'll just have fun just swinging around, because traveling is Spider-Man.
One, right?
Wait, what?
Oh, this PS4 one, right?
Yeah, because I'm trying to think. I'm pretty sure I used fast travel in Spider-Man like literally just twice in my entire playthrough of the game. Traveling in that game is just fun, and I would hope they could attempt that with this, because Sonic running around in an open space to me is already a cool thing as it is. Like I like the freaking Unreal tech demo vibes of just being able to just run fast through this open world. But if you like sprinkle in stuff to do, which actually, I mean, we do have the trick system hinted at already. That already gives hopes of being able to just jump off stuff, while out with tricks. Maybe it fills some kind of resource, or it's just for flexing. Who knows?
It's probably similar to the trick system in the in like Generations and such, where you just do like some combo or whatever. Because in fact, I think the animation was like the one of the exact same ones from Generations, that when the person goes through the trick ring, it's like the same as the rainbow ring.
Wait, was it? I thought it was from a spring. In fact,
it could also be from a spring, but I actually, wow, I got to the right moment. In the
what's the number?
The free roam trailer around 3:38, they go through like a trick ring, and they just kind of do like a few little hops like in the air. Oh yeah,
that's
you're right there.
Typical trick ring. And then I thought once they go from the waterfall off of a spring. Yeah, wait, here, let me go back to be sure. Yeah, because that's bringing me back to Sonic Rush, where Sonic Rush you can do tricks off of any like spring or whatever. And then in Advance, Advance you could do them off of those particular ramps. Like if they have freedom to do tricks off of whatever various things, that'd be cool. I would just wonder if like, are you getting points? Are you getting showing some kind of resource are you getting some kind of PSN achievements? Do 69 tricks in one airtime?
Trophies?
Yeah, there's
Platinum?
gonna be trick trophies. There's gonna be Tony Hawk level freaking combos and stuff. I don't know what they're
I
gonna do with that.
bringing up like the exploration, it would be fun to like go fast like in an open environment, like fuck around and stuff. It's just like what they've shown is the world is just a little bit small from what I've seen, which sort of like puts a damper on if I'm thinking like, okay, is this actually gonna be like big, open, able to like mess around with everything or what? So that's kind of like the concern there is it looks okay, decently big, but then we got to see if they have other islands, like maybe they could have other ones. So
Yeah,
who
there'll also
knows?
be like a. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, who knows, right?
Yeah, because if it's like a collection of islands, or if it's just like Ghost of Tsushima, where it's one massive island with particular subsections, I don't know. I mean, I'd even be fine with that, honestly, because even though Ghost of Tsushima was technically one island, they did a good job of making it feel freaking massive.
Sonic in Sonic Mod in San Andreas is a bigger map than Frontiers. No cap.
And again, it'll come down to what they do with the speed or certain things to make it feel bigger or smaller. Because it goes back to what I said about where if you have less speed, will the world still feel as like small? Or if it is small but you have speed, do you just need more stuff to do? Like, I guess it comes down to how you balance that out, I guess.
Yeah, and again, that's where like we were talking about earlier, like. Do you do an adventure style that's like smaller, or do you the traditional or like the boost style that's more open? But even if it is more open, this map doesn't look necessarily big to run around at the speed that we've been accustomed to with Unleashed in Generations. So it's a little hard to say. Yeah, we've been kind of speculating on this for a while. But it's good to talk about. The thing is like who knows if like tomorrow they're gonna drop some fucking news that like just explains everything, right? Like, oh, here's a blog write up. It just no trailer, but here's everything that's outlined how the game's gonna be. Like, what if tomorrow there's a story trailer? Who knows, right?
We still have another
The
podcast.
story trailer would be more intriguing than anything at this
Emergency meeting. Emergency podcast
I was
meeting.
thinking that earlier. Like, are we gonna have to like do these like every week now?
Whoa, it's almost like a podcast.
Huh.
It's almost like a consistent like a content creation.
Wow.
Weekly Sonic news roundup.
Are they doing stuff daily, really, for this game?
No idea. No, it's
That'll
only been 3
blow
days.
my mind if they really do daily stuff for.
Well,
like...
we're in E3 season, so you might as well plan on frequently people coming in.
If they have enough content to give you something every day for this next month, either the game is done and they could probably release it by like July or August, or like the game is huge.
Or they somehow are able to milk
is.
the same stuff in a very weird, deceptive manner. Like,
oh, then I'm blocking.
Or
I'm
think
blocking
they
the Sonic.
can.
I'm blocking the Sonic Twitter account then.
Okay.
Fucking the Sonic Twitter account. Yo.
Dude, even it's not even just Frontiers news. Do you know Origins comes out in like less than 3 weeks? Oh, you forgot about that game, huh? Oh,
Yeah, I actually
Origins,
did.
huh? Yeah, that game's out soon, dude. It's out this month.
I would have
Sonic
forgot.
compilation. Gotcha.
I didn't say it.
All right, what's in
Wait,
this
a
compilation?
Sonic-
There was actually Origins news that came out like I think yesterday. They showed off like the stage selection or whatever.
I didn't see anything.
That's
Wow.
fine.
Wait, how
That's
much is this
fine.
game?
Origins?
Yeah,
How much is it?
I'm curious. Yeah, I'm curious.
It's
Oh,
40.
boy. Yeah, where's
40?
that?
Okay.
Where's that chart?
It's
Oh, that thing.
it's
Sonic,
40.
Sonic 2, Sonic
$40.
It's like 4 games. Okay.
4 games, $10. You probably own those games already. The same versions are cheaper on mobile. So yeah, seems like a good deal.
Seems legit.
I do have. I did randomly buy a Sonic collection of sorts on Steam a long time ago, so I might have some of those games.
Is it the Genesis?
The thing is, that shit comes out right before I go to CEO. So I'm like, oh man, I hope I don't buy it for Switch. I feel like I will, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to be tempted by the bullshit. Especially because I already got the AM2 versions or whatever already that are already on Switch.
Yeah.
It's fucking crazy.
Also, sorry, real quick to go back to a point Esteban made earlier, which I did have those thoughts every now and then, because I do like when level design and world building actually kind of makes sense for why objects and stuff are there. At the end of the day, there's no explanation for why springs and stuff are freaking around, but at least when you have rails that are on the side of buildings or switches that activate things, it makes things feel a little more believable. This, all these rails just suspended in space, yeah, I would want to see some switches activating stuff, or maybe the island you're on is freaking sentient, making stuff. I don't know.
It's funny how those things don't pop in, but most of the other shit does. This game has some serious pop in that you can see, which
yeah, I noticed some building stuff too.
Actually, if you keep playing, from this point, you'll see a major pop in right about now, yeah. And it's god damn.
Is that immersion breaking for you guys? I'm curious about that.
Pop-ins or the stuff about
the
suspended platforms and whatever?
I would say
pop-ins.
I would say yeah. I mean, if it's like that where it's pretty blatant, then sure. I mean, I'd be like, wow, that's bad. I mean, I noticed that the first time watching this. I was just chilling watching the gameplay, and then immediately you see platform pop in Bubsy 3D, and you're like,
the
oh,
funny
okay.
thing is, now that you've mentioned it, I'm noticing all of the pop-ins after the fact. It's funny.
Pop-in's always a rough thing to deal with.
Yeah, it's the kind of thing where it depends on how tolerant you are of it, and whether or not they'll address it better. As you can tell, I'm clearly thinking of freaking world immersion instead of this stuff making sense.
Yeah. Pop-in's hard to avoid, especially for open world stuff. You can clearly see obviously this is Sonic Team's I guess you can say first open world game. So I guess maybe they're not ironing out. That's the pop-in is something that definitely can be fixed before launch. That's not something that's fundamental to the design where there's no way that's changing. That's definitely something that could be improved.
They're clearly working on stuff. This is a freaking 2160 60 FPS. Dang, this is some high graphics I'm not used to for Sonic stuff. Wow.
Well, I mean, it's still Hedgehog Engine 2, right? And that was on Forces, that on PS4 and Xbox One. That was I think for the base models. Base models, it was 1080p.
It was also on the Tokyo Olympics as well. For Mario and Sonic.
Yeah, on the Xbox One X for Sonic Forces, it actually did run, I think, close to 4K 60. So yeah, I mean, the fact that a PS5 or Xbox Series console can do 4K 60 is not really surprising for this engine. No, I do still think this engine looks worse than Unleashed, but that's just a personal thing.
Well, actually, I know Hedgehog Engine 2 is also used for the Switch version of Sonic Forces. So.
Yeah, they're obviously they're holding it back because of the Switch. Actually, who was talking about how this game should not be on Switch?
Me.
Yeah. Okay. So, Sonic, I think on Nintendo platforms outsells the other console counterparts 3 or 4 to 1 or something. It's kind of ridiculous.
That is kind of wild.
Yeah. Sonic is clearly
the most Nintendo character, but not really a Nintendo character.
Look, any game made in 2020 something. If Nintendo's back in the game, so if your game isn't made specifically for a target audience of like 14 and older, like,
well,
and
remember
I mean like
what Sonic's target audience is.
like in like no,
little babies
that's what I'm
like
saying.
us.
I'm saying like if your game isn't made for like a target audience of 16 and up, and you like if the game isn't made for like 16 and up, it's like suicide to make your game not on Switch. Like, it's actual sales suicide. You're literally just throwing money out the door.
Yeah, that'd be
If
one
your
of the
game-
things I would agree. Where, like, given Sonic's
If
target
kids
audience,
is at all, if your kids are at all a target audience for you, like at all in the consideration, like even if you're an indie game, it's like not necessarily made for kids, but kids can play it. It's like, yeah, release it on Switch. Like, we don't care what it takes. I don't care if the game runs in 720p, 30 FPS with frame drops. You release it on Switch. Because they don't care. They just don't care.
Yeah, if they fucking forced Big Red Button to put CryEngine on the Wii U, they'll do anything, man, just to get that shit on a Nintendo platform.
What's CryEngine?
Yeah, dude, I'm like when I booted up Rise of Lyricus, it's like achieved with CryEngine. I'm like, the fuck? Did I put in the wrong game? Like, yeah, that was a whole thing. That was actually the reason. I think I talked about this in one of the podcasts, but when the game was initially coming out, it was meant to be a PS4, Xbox One, PC game, and then Sega signed that deal with Nintendo for the 3 exclusive games. And Rise of Lyric was forced to be one of them, like against their will. So actually, most of the development for Rise of Lyric was actually figuring out how to get CryEngine to work on the Wii U, because they already licensed the engine and they were already too far in development to stop. So they actually, I remember reading this. The developers, Big Red Button, actually contacted Crytek and EA, which I think like owned Crytek at the time. They actually talked to Electronic Arts before they talked to Sega, because Sega just fucked them so hard, and they were like, "Hey, we need help getting this to run on the Wii U," which is very funny because the previous year, before Rise of Lyric or Ligma, sorry, came out, Crytek, they announced Crysis 3 for the Wii U, but they had to cancel it because they said CryEngine can't run on the Wii U like very well. So it's very funny. Just a very
the
series
Wii U
of
was just a big comedy act.
well, yeah, but putting fucking CryEngine on the Wii U, I mean, that's a goddamn accomplishment if I've ever seen one.
It's not something
no
I
one-
would
Go play Xenoblade
expect.
Chronicles X.
No,
Only
and the
worth
game-
playing on Wii U anymore.
And the game ran like shit anyway, so. Yeah, but anyway, yeah, it's not about Rise of Lyric. But yeah, I mean, talking about like this game, I feel like we're talking about like the Switch version. Obviously, in some aspect, the Switch is holding back this game, but I wouldn't really say that much. Like, I wouldn't put like oh, if this game wasn't on Switch, they could do this and this and this. I don't think Sonic Team would go that crazy on this. And let's say we were in a reality, right, where they would not release it on Switch, which they wouldn't, but let's say we were, I still think that they would play it pretty safe, kind of like what they're doing here with, not like packing it with a bunch of shit, right, to tank performance and such. So they're keeping it they're keeping the world pretty open and pretty simple from the looks of it. So
I already have opinions on like arguments about graphics and different platforms and stuff. I'm gonna be real with you. When a developer says like, "Oh, it's a big," the main place I see it talked about nowadays is Series S. It's like people were like, "Oh, the Series S is holding back this generation," stuff. It's like, no, it's not. It's just the developers. No, it's just because developers, when you give them all this power, most developers aren't actually using the power to make the game look better. They're using the power to be like, oh, we don't have to optimize the game as much. Great. So as soon as they have to start actually optimizing their game for the Series S or something, and actually think about graphics settings and making it reach goals and benchmarks, like, well, shoot, this generation was going to be so good when we just had way more power than we could even design a game for at our disposal.
The Series S, in terms of like price to performance, is like punching well above its weight in terms of like what it's actually capable of. I mean, being able to run any game at like 1080p, 120 FPS for $300 is actually like pretty impressive, honestly.
Well, it's so, most of the thing I see is that the memory, the developers don't want to have to deal around like the lower memory grade, or I think it's just a lower grade, not even a lower size, but it's like.
And I know there was something.
PC port for this game, you're just supposed to be optimizing it anyway. Why is this a problem? It's like, just make it actually adapt to the hardware it's on and deal with different limitations rather than expecting everybody to just have top power and run the game by brute force rather than actually optimizing it.
Yeah. I mean, I think the Series S, the biggest bottleneck in it, I think, was supposedly the CPU. Apparently it was less powerful, or like it wasn't clocked as high as the Xbox One X, so the previous generation. But the graphics performance of the Series S like completely just destroys the actually, sorry, it's the other way around. The chip, the CPU inside the Series S is much more powerful, but the graphics apparently wasn't as much.
Yeah, but its ratio of being able to handle 1080p is, it's like, okay, so the thing with the Series S is that they programmed it in a way to where by only targeting 1080p, it's better at handling 1080p than even the equivalent 4K card would be at handling 1080p when downscaling. It's like so specifically geared for that resolution, or 1440p as well, that like if you try stepping outside of that boundary, it actually struggles with 4K pretty badly. But it gets much more performance than it should be by how they optimize it or something like that. I don't know. It's wizardry.
I mean, Microsoft's philosophy, right, with the Series S is a budget box that is for people that are primarily subscribing to Game Pass, and using it as sort of that's streaming machine, or like digital, right? It's digital only, so
it's definitely for like families that have kids that they don't care about physical games, and they're like, I just need something that we can watch Netflix on and sit Jimmy in front of to shut him up. It's like.
I just full disclosure, I do own a Series S. Main reason why I bought it specifically was because the backwards compatibility that's on the console. That was one of the main things, and I do own those games physically, but obviously the better performance, especially with something like Sonic Unleashed now, is something that I think gives me a lot of value out of it. I also bought it for to play Virtua Fighter, but that was before the new version came out.
Oh, did you also hear about that 06 got relisted again on the 360
It did, yeah, it did. So it's only the original 360 store, so it's not a backwards compatible title, so you have to be on the 360 for it.
They didn't even mean to re-release it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was probably like an accident. Like somebody like fucking butt dialed. It was like, oh, whoops.
No, they were trying to re-release the original Sonic.
I heard it was
Sonic the Hedgehog.
Apparently it's only $5, like
when
digitally.
you get memed by your own bad naming convention.
You did?
You copped
yeah,
it?
because I was like, just in case. Who knows?
Just in case what?
Yeah, pay
You put it backwards.
In case you need to play that shit?
I mean, I still only have my 360 physical copy. That's all I have.
I mean, if they do that, then I don't have to spend money on a PS3.
Yeah, I guess so, huh? There you go.
Actually, I should probably get it for our playthroughs anyway, so I don't have to do it on 360.
No, you have to still do it on 360.
You have to play it on 360.
Yeah, it's not backwards compatible. It's not a BC title.
Well, I can have it in case something happens to my physical copy for whatever reason. Someone gonna
Cope. Okay.
Just in
Well,
case I smash it with a hammer.
clearly someone's gonna come into my house and smash it and be like, "Yo, why do you have a physical copy of 06? How dare you?"
Yeah, someone's gonna come in. It'll be like Squidward with the alarm clocks and be like, "Look how many else I got."
God.
But
Sorry.
just to wrap up what I was saying about the Series S, but Microsoft's philosophy with it is not everybody needs like the most powerful thing, so it's okay to have something that's a little bit more specialized. And if you're somebody who immediately is like, well, why wouldn't I? Why would I buy the Series S? Over the Series X. The Series X is way more powerful. The Series S is automatically not for you. It's immediately not for you. Because the Series S fits what I needed perfectly because I don't have a pre-existing Xbox One library. And I was having a very specific, things in mind in the console when I bought it, and it fulfills those needs very well, and I enjoy it. I like it a lot. Now, if you do have a gaming PC, you might not be nearly as useful, but I still found use out of it, and I use it, I'd say, fairly frequently. So,
truthfully,
with
how powerful these consoles are, I don't feel like bothering with the PC ecosystems. They're just such a headache, in my opinion.
I mean, is it gonna
that's
get
fair.
any better?
When I don't need to. I mean, I have a computer for games that I need to play on a computer, but like, if I had the choice between getting a game on console or getting on PC, I hate dealing with a PC ecosystem, personally.
No, I feel
I own
that.
a Series S as well, and a Series X. I own both.
Oh my god, this dude.
It's a long story. I had a Series S originally. I traded it in. I sold it to Ronald when I got my hands on a Series X.
It's still legit one of the best game.
And then my little brother had a Series S still, and then I came upon another Series X that I bought for a friend and told him, "You can pay me back whenever." And then he ended up not using it. He's like, "You can just have it back." I'm like, "Well, shit." And now I have a Series X that I waited outside a store to get for you, and now you don't want it. And so I gave it to my little brother and traded him for the Series S he had, and I've just kept the Series S because I'm like, I don't need the money right now. So
that's cool.
I just have it for locals and stuff. It got used at homebrew to good use. That Hydro Thunder was crazy.
Y'all were going in.
Oh yeah, dude. Anyway, we got a little off track.
Well, I was gonna say in regards to the comparisons with the Switch, because realistically, like, we gotta be real, the Switch can hold back games, but at the end of the day, you consider the target audience, but you also consider if there are also alternatives. Like, you don't really have to abandon the Switch version when you, like Nick said, you could be severely shafting your sales. Not having a Sonic game of all things on Switch, because we've gone how long of like Sonic games being a general staple on Nintendo consoles?
Since
like
the
fucking
GameCube.
Adventure. Yeah, Adventure 2.
No, not even Adventure, because I would say since Wait, did Adventure come? Wait, did Adventure 2 Battle come out first?
Sonic Adventure 2 came out first, and then it was DX.
Yes, the
And then it
DX
was Heroes?
onward was on GameCube and stuff.
And then it was Heroes? Okay.
Yeah.
It's called the GameCube era, for crying out loud. Like,
wait, didn't Sonic Advance come first?
Advance was technically the first Sonic game that was on a Nintendo platform. Yes.
And we'll go technically since Sonic Advance. So yeah, we
Sonic
going.
games very much exist, like a big part of their existence is on Nintendo consoles, and you can attribute part of that to the target audience. I don't know if they're... Wait, what?
I was gonna say, there's
like-
hardly been like any Sonic games that have been exclusive to platforms that aren't Nintendo.
I mean, remember the Wii?
Well, what they did for that era was
Yeah.
either it was specific Wii-only games, or they were separate versions entirely. Which,
Sonic only.
I mean, for me personally,
Yeah.
there are a handful of things I like about the Wii version more than the 360 version, surprisingly. But at the end of the day, like, for people that didn't have a 360 or PS3, I'm pretty sure Unleashed gets the job done, probably. And then you have, like, the Storybook series, those for the Wii, and you can, again, still play all of your GameCube stuff from Sonic on the Wii. Like, Sonic has a very established life on Nintendo consoles.
Yeah, and the fact of the matter is they're not gonna like just drop it anytime soon.
Well,
so.
like, I think the Wii U was made a lot of people remember. Made a lot of people forget like how big Nintendo is just by having that one flop. Like, you remember, like, even like 2011, like 2010, 2011, Call of Duty wanted to have Wii versions. Like, when Nintendo's not flopping around, when Nintendo's like not making an absolute flop, like, it's in most companies' interest to have a Nintendo version of the game. It's just, Nintendo's big for a lot of casual audiences that drive a lot of sales. Casual audiences that just
Yo,
might
except
not even
Madden.
have, like,
No Madden on Switch. I'm fucking pissed.
because people will buy an Xbox for Madden. They know they don't have to try to get people. They know they don't have to try to find the audience for Madden. They know that the people that want Madden are going to buy a system that has Madden.
Yeah,
So,
I bought a Dreamcast for NFL Blitz.
Yeah,
I got fucked.
And well, realistically, at the end of the day, if something has Sonic's name on it, it's gonna be bought to some extent, no matter what it's on, no matter how good or bad it is. Especially if people would get it. Like, people have bought Sonic games for meme reasons. Like, people will buy this game no matter what it's on.
Yeah.
I'm gonna buy just to play it and see how it works on my experience, because I don't follow. I can't just go ahead and follow everybody else's opinion on the game if I don't have my opinion on the game, because you guys could say the game is crap. I'll say maybe it's not. Maybe I just had a good time with it.
I mean, there's Sonic games like that, and I think that I actually foresee something like that happening with this game.
Oh, yeah.
Where you have
For
a lot
sure.
of Sonic fans that are like, this game's terrible, I don't like this game, or stuff. It's like, you have people that don't even have, mostly people that don't have experience with the Sonic franchise before, or prior investment with like the older games, and it's like, oh, well, this is a cool game. But then you have a bunch of Sonic fans who are like, oh, this isn't what Sonic is and stuff. I mean, that's just what happens when series make big changes and try to make big shifts, where like sometimes the original audiences feel alienated and left out. Like, I'm trying to think of a game that's like, plenty of games have done it, where it's like, oh yeah, this is a good game, but it's not a such and such game.
Could we
Black
say
Knight?
like some of the Metroid Prime games, like I would say Metroid 3 Corruption or Metroid Prime 2, or
I'm trying
something
to
like.
think. I know there's a perfect game I'm thinking of.
Were the Metroid Prime 2 and 3, were they major departures from the first? I didn't think so.
Well, no, but I just know that some people had just compared to like its original. You know what I mean? Some people didn't like the gameplay of Metroid Prime. Some people didn't even like Samus Returns gameplay either. I
The
mean,
Need for
then
Speed
again,
series deals with it a lot.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Well, I mean, if we're talking about Sonic, I feel like Lost World is probably the easiest one to bring up, since it was a pretty big departure from what was,
That was-
the status
I feel
quo
like-
to that point.
I think Sonic Lost World had like the concept of it was based off of Sonic Extreme, that canceled game for the Sega Saturn.
Yeah.
They
That's-
admitted that they had no inspiration from that game.
was a
Honestly, I don't give a
looks
flying
similar,
crap.
but
Who
yeah.
said- who said
I mean,
that?
the
Who
meme
said-
was Sonic Odyssey, regardless, or not Sonic Odyssey, Sonic Galaxy. Sorry.
Yeah.
but
Probably indirectly influenced, maybe not like directly, like they were.
It
like,
wasn't
oh, let's make
directly,
it like
but yeah,
Yeah.
you can
Probably,
see like
like,
the
somewhat
direct influence.
Similarities.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when Lost World came out, that was also a really polarizing game. There were lots of people going left and right on that one, and
Yeah.
I think the narrative for that game has shifted much more towards negative lately. But I'm sure that game, just like everything else, will eventually
man.
get people coming out who are like, "Wait a minute, that game was really good." Right?
Well, 'cause
There's
another game of like, oh, it's not like you have the debate of is it really Sonic? He's not going that fast. XYZ like
Oh,
mechanical preference. You know.
I got a perfect example. This comes from the Pokemon community. Remember Gen 5 when when Gen 5 first started? Like people didn't like Gen 5's Gen 5 was Unova. So nobody didn't like the beginning of Unova or anything. And then years later, everybody nowadays, if you talk about Gen 5, everybody's like, that's goated. That was the peak of Pokemon. Back
like,
then,
most of those people were like the people that complain are like the vocal, longtime fans.
Yeah.
And the people that enjoy it are the people just getting into the franchise to begin with, and like, or this is like their second game maybe, and I'm like, oh, this is really cool. I like
just
this
like
game.
The Star Wars,
they're
like
too young to be online, or they're too young, like.
Just like me liking Resident Evil 6.
Just like
this
is like the prequels. Shoot, this is like the prequels.
He likes RE6.
What the hell?
To sum it up, I have never been like a long time Resident Evil fan. So when I played Resident Evil 6, I didn't have any preconceived notions or expectations of the series, and I just liked the gameplay for what it was. Just simple, well, semi-simple, shooty, runny, and then another character is like punchy, and then a little bit of lore. Like, I thought Resident Evil 6 was just a decently fun game to play with people. But
you corrupted yourself, bro. It's basically what you told me is like, oh, I lost my virginity to a hooker. It's like, oh, you could have had it with like your first love, like RE4 or RE2, but nah, you chose RE6. Okay.
I see it a lot in the racing game community with like Need for Speed Most Wanted, the 2012 version of the game, where a lot of people were really mad that it wasn't like the original Need for Speed Most Wanted. And truthfully, that game was a Burnout game, not a Need for Speed game. But you had a lot of people saying, "Oh, this game's so bad. It's not Need for Speed. It's garbage."
I mean, it was made by the Burnout people.
Yes, it was.
Like,
and then you just have people that like were playing it, and they're like, "Whoa, this is a really fun game." And it was a really, really fun game. It had one of the, still to this day, I think, one of the best online racing game multiplayer systems. I still don't think a game's topped its. Just the fluidity of the systems that it had, and the pace, and it's just like snappy event variety. Like I don't think any racing game has ever topped that game's just seamlessness of good multiplayer game modes, good multiplayer racing, fun experience, like that. Great. But yeah, I mean, at the time people panned it, and people would like trashed it on message boards and stuff because, oh, it's not Need for Speed Most Wanted, which I mean is fair. Need for Speed Most Wanted is a very famous game from 2005, very, very popular game. To use the game's name for a Burnout game was definitely jarring, and I think that might be something you see with Frontiers, is that it's like, oh, why is it a Sonic game? But then you have people that don't play it with any expectations out of a Sonic game, and it's like, hey, this had fun combat, the story was neat, it's fun, but then you have people that are still hung up on the fact that, oh, it's not a very Sonic-y game, there's no fast-paced movement, which, I mean, yeah, it probably should try to have that.
Reviews.
But,
oh man.
But yeah, I think that you're gonna see a divide if they don't make the game fast-paced and they keep it how it looks so far. If they do what they have well, if they do what they have shown so far well, you're gonna have to say, oh, this is a really cool game, and then you're gonna have longtime Sonic fans saying, oh, it's terrible.
Sonic had
it's
a
not
rough transition to open world.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Sonic Adventure 1's another example of a game that did that, where it's like people were like, "Oh, this is terrible," and then you had people that just played it without. You just had people that played it without expectations. Even nowadays, they're like, "Wait, this game's kind of cool."
Yeah.
Like,
it was I was gonna say it was. I think because you brought up Pokemon too. I think actually I heard a lot of people comparing this to Sword and Shield. I think when it was coming out, because it's sort of like, you know, Sword and Shield was meant to be sort of like this big departure, or like Arceus as well. We're supposed to be like, hey, this is sort of like a new type of thing we're trying out, and then comes out pretty polarizing. A lot of people more leaning towards negative, at least that what you see online. But even whatever the case is about that, right? Like if there's a pretty big like negative leaning online, you've got to understand that like Twitter isn't like the real world, and a lot of those people, like, they'll just buy the game no matter what. Like lots of people will just buy it like independent of all that. So things like movements, like people like trying to boycott like Pokemon Sword and Shield or whatever, it's like that's not gonna happen, dog. Like that's not happening.
People just, you know, it's the people that the people that really just scream like online, that just scream the loudest. You know, you don't, the vocal minority. People are just gonna be like, hey, it's Pokemon. I like the games. You know, people are gonna be like, you know, vocal minority is gonna be like, you got crappy taste. They're gonna be like, oh well, so be it. Say whatever you want. Don't call me late for dinner.
Let's negativity and positivity honestly be louder than what you may fully experience. But again, it's Sonic. It's gonna sell regardless.
I mean, Sonic has always been polarizing. Yeah.
As polarizing as Sonic has been, it does sell. Sonic does sell, but that's, to me, I don't like the games that have been recently, but it's still gonna sell. Like, if you like Sonic, my brother likes Sonic Forces and all those games, I'm not gonna go ahead and tell him he's got crappy taste, okay?
Well, it's
their own.
Yeah, and it's also, Sonic's also been in a weird spot of where it's polarizing because of the branches of audiences that like get catered to or don't get catered to, but then also there's a bit of infamy and memery to where, like, I mean, unless people can show me the numbers and like prove me wrong, there have been some aspects where there's sales and attention in the negative way, and like that still gets eyes and ears on the games of good lord, like just the amount of freaking YouTubers making their top 10 Sonic 06 glitches compilations. I'm pretty sure that alone like sold the game in very weird, unconventional ways of everyone just playing the game and cashing in on ragging on 06. Like, that's been up and down for Sonic games in general recently too, with Forces, with Rise of Ligma, and I guess Colors Ultimate too. Which, by the way, which version can I get and not feel bad about it?
None.
Well, frick.
Yes, version.
Wait,
the Wii version. You get the Wii version.
For which game?
Sonic Colors.
But
shoot.
Honestly,
well,
there's only Wii and DS. There's no other version, so I mean, you
play the DS version because at least you get a Supersonic final boss, and it's like it's not open-ended like how the original Colors is. But I feel like there you get to see more of the characters. Like, you get to see all the cast down in the Sonic in the Eggman theme park thing, so that's kind of why I would go for the DS version. But
we were messing around. We were talking about Ultimate Sonic Colors Ultimate. What version to get? Don't get any.
Rip, I'm sorry. I just went off a tangent.
Ronald.
I'll take it L. I'll take this L.
Did you have any more topics real quick? Because I had to go. I have to.
Well, funny
I'm
you
gonna
say
head out
that.
soon.
Call me Sajam. There's gonna be one last segue into seeing if there were any closing thoughts, because I'm pretty sure we jumped around to everybody.
Yeah.
I guess the moral of the story kind of is, let's hope the game is good, but we can also hope that Sega does surprise us somehow with like a multitude of information over the next few days. I will be genuinely impressed if they like have back-to-back information and showcase like going into depth into things, mechanics, story, but also show improvements. And then I'm gonna be like, why didn't you show a better build the first time? But hey, whatever.
Exactly.
We'll see if we're pleasantly surprised or not. But anyone have any other closing thoughts?
Like,
Whoa.
Honestly,
Wait, hold up. I just randomly clicked on the Sonic Frontiers like category on Twitch. Just cause I don't know.
I saw it was an option, so I marked it.
Yeah, you're streaming on it. It says speed through the Starfall Islands landscapes brimming with dense forests, overflowing waterfalls, and sizzling deserts. Wait a minute.
Wait,
there could be other places. Yeah, deserts, bro.
I think people are already talking about that there might be different islands.
Yeah. Okay, so
it says islands. It's gotta be more than one island.
This is definitely okay. I mean,
so this
I was thinking
like Ghost of Sushi with one massive island. Is it gonna be multiple islands?
Yeah,
so
it should be.
No, it doesn't look like they're all connected. Like you couldn't just like run across like the water to the next one. That would be sick.
Bro, I want to run across to a whole other freaking island. That'd be sick.
I feel like they can do that. They might do it as like a transition, but maybe like there's not a lot of freedom to
even
it.
pausing on this random frame like here, you can see like another.
Oh shit! In the background.
Distance. In fact, yeah, I'm gonna scroll through this again. We're gonna see.
You can also see MS Paint lines all over the screen.
See in the Okay, I'm glad we did this. I'm noticing more and more things. There are islands in the distance.
Whoa, is those the sizzling deserts? Oh shit.
Well, dang, we finally have another desert zone with some banging music. Wait, actually, so hold up. With this rainy, I mean, the terrain looks similar, so I can't assume this would be another island. But I mean, maybe different islands have different like weather and whatever. I don't know. I don't know how dynamic they would want to be with like weather. Are they gonna bring back what they tried to do with 06 and have day and nighttime stuff before Unleashed was even a thing? Wait. See, we're really testing the draw distance of this freaking demo here.
You know what I just realized?
Huh.
They took the weather system from Sonic R and implemented it into this game.
Yo, R?
I don't appreciate having to give Sonic R credit for things, but...
Whoa, why?
Sonic R was the first Sonic game to have weather.
We gotta hold that.
I'm joking, alright, but...
Sonic R was the first Sonic game to make me cry.
Out of joy or pain?
The soundtrack was so beautiful it made a man cry.
Yes. It was so beautiful, I had to put it on my cassette tape. Bring it with me on my Walkman.
No.
Diamond in the Sky goes hard. It goes hard.
It's funny you say that because I'm looking at this floating structure and I keep thinking back to what Esteban said. But I mean, like, it's just a question of how much you question the realism of Sonic level design. But I mean, it's cool. Well, it's interesting, but also funny when we're going back to talking about what like the pop-ins and stuff. Like stuff is popping in and it's jarring, but then you also see these moments of like stuff drawn super far in the distance.
I got no idea why that's the case. This is why like I feel like the pop-in is something they might like fix. Because there's no reason why it should be like that.
Like, why can we see the islands in the distance, but then stuff randomly pops in, like...
What's popping in?
Wait, like during
platforms.
like platforms.
Okay,
signs.
yeah, that's just how games usually work. Usually, terrain is drawn from a distance, and just
Probably
objects
don't
aren't.
have crap. What's it?
I do
Calling.
have an
Well,
island.
Where
it would
they
be
like-
fade in once you get closer.
LOD, usually. Oh yeah. Well,
they
you
probably
would
don't
think
have-
that they would have, cause like something, right? Like you approach it. And it's more
Billboarding,
detailed.
cooling, all kinds of different tricks that make it where things from a distance can be drawn in lower fidelity.
Yeah, but this
Yeah.
one just it looks a little
Actually,
rough,
even
just
fighting
because
games do
you're kind of right next to something and then it pops in.
that.
Like,
Yeah, it's still
Yeah.
jarring at the end of the day.
It's just
But
a matter of how you tune those different tricks and what distance you make them trigger from that you fine tune how jarring it is.
I'm glad you
hey
clicked
yo,
on the
they'll pop in on Switch. They'll pop in on Switch.
Yo.
Yo, dude, I'm gonna jump. Dude, literally,
Oh,
you're
there's
trying to
gonna
make
be a
a,
bunch
you're
of
trying to
different
jump a
things.
gap that you're supposed to make. I can't see the other platform. The true classic Sonic experience. You can't see what you're jumping to because it hasn't loaded in.
You get like the death fall and then that shit pops up at the very end.
Sonic's gonna go actually too fast for the Switch.
Oh my god! Wait, we're talking about like, oh, what happens if we go really fast, bro? This game ain't gonna load in time.
Oh no!
The fucking half of the island's gonna be gone.
Okay, we can't have burnout level speed after all. It's not gonna be able to load.
Shit's gonna be running like Adabat on the 360.
Like what?
I'm glad you clicked on that category though now, because that does give nice
Yeah.
more things to look forward to. Of
Uh,
we're gonna have other worlds to explore, other environments. Probably affects the enemies and what you can do with the terrain. That's sick.
I was talking about on Sonic Unleashed the Jungle Joyride, the stage when you're going through like the water in the jungle, it like goes down to like fucking 10 FPS or less.
It's-
At least on the original version. On the Xbox One series, now it's either 30 or 60 depending on what you play on. That's cool.
it's definitely an improvement.
Yeah.
But I guess, well, I mean,
Yeah. Sorry, we got off there.
well,
We can
no,
go
it's
back.
fine. I was gonna say, like, to answer Esteban's concerns, it sounds like we've addressed everything. We will, I guess, attempt some genuine consistency, and if Sega actually does hold up and continue their news and stuff, we can keep talking about things. But
We shall reconvene if they this show 2 more videos. At
exactly.
least 2 more videos.
And
We could
Like-
talk about other E3 things too.
I mean, if y'all want, sure. And even today, like, you guys can still like chill in Discord and whatnot. I will just for now call
Play
it.
PSO2.
But I need to get ready for the tournament tomorrow.
Wait, is
What
there
tournament?
anything on Sunday?
What
I meant to
tournament are you
ask you
doing
that.
now?
I don't know. Wait, what star?
What tournament are you doing tomorrow?
Yokai battles at the Yokai Market, basically a mini Fresno Fair, running Dragon Ball, Strive, and Street Fighter. I don't think I can do a stream, but I will try. Oh, can I record locally? I might be too busy. I'll have to see.
Is it outside or inside the tournament?
Inside.
All right. Is a lot of the stands going to be outside or also inside? Or how much of the grounds are they using?
Because
You
near
know?
that
You don't probably don't know. That's
pavilion,
fine.
what's it called? I thought they were gonna move a lot of things inside, but the concert stuff might still be outside that pavilion.
Concert stuff? Okay. You know what? I think I might be asking the wrong person. I'm gonna just look up and see like what's going on.
Well,
Is it like
'cause
a,
I know they have like music and stuff too.
is it like
I
one of the
want-
15? Is it like one of the 15 local anime cons that like happen in Fresno? It feels like every year.
Kinda. Which actually,
Yeah.
the funny thing is, apparently there's an anime thing on June 11th, like an
Oh, get the
anime
fuck
/
outta
car
here.
show thing.
Yo, what? Yo?
Yeah, it's anime Bushi
Car?
something.
Anime Bushido.
Anime bougie? Trying to say bougie, Ronald?
No.
Yo, I'm gonna bring my race car, dude.
Anime-
I'm gonna
Yeah,
drive my race car
anime
to the
bougie.
venue.
You want to go there if you want to buy your $700 anime figures.
Oh gosh.
Yo.
I know I
Yo.
do.
I know that's
Can I have my $700 anime card?
Esteban's definitely rolling up.
Jesus Christ.
Also, I guess I'm apparently the only person talking about Frontiers right now on Twitch. Imagine
Well,
that.
I mean, what do you want? What closing thoughts do you want me to say before I go?
Well,
and...
do you have any? If not, well, I'm trying to find someone to
closing
read.
thoughts. Closing thoughts. Well, just honestly, like I said, that it looks like a sandbox game. I'm hoping to see more of it, so I could probably not say it's a soulless husk of a sandbox game, but you know, I would like to see multiple characters. But if we don't, I would like to see more of like other islands and more momentum. I would like to see the UI for this goddamn game. So, and I would like to know a little bit more about the story than just what we got. So honestly, I'm kind of curious of what this is gonna look like. But yeah, so hopefully. But the important thing is, if I just want to see if I can go fast. I just gotta go fast. That's all I ask.
You said the line.
Your PSO2
I have to at least say the line at least once. Gotta go fast.
Let me see. I think I found another stream.
Riley, I got a question.
Whoa, wait.
Is it like a blue shell tournament of sorts?
What, tomorrow? No, I'm just. They asked me to run tournaments, and I'm running tournaments.
Did we all go over our closing thoughts?
I thought y'all did. Well, did y'all?
We did.
I asked. Does anyone else have anything else?
So. I don't have anything to say. I think I pretty much summed up everything I thought already. Where I was like, I'm just, there's really just gotta wait and see, right? I'm just hoping that, gotta see what those levels look like. I gotta see, are there levels? Is it just open world? Like, what's going on, right? That's all. That's just my biggest question, and it's a pretty simple one. So I hope it's answered fairly soon here.
Yeah, in fact, if y'all see anything at all, keep doing what you're doing and putting stuff in the Discord.
Hey, how y'all feel about Street Fighter 6?
Well,
story-wise,
I'm gonna end this at least, and then y'all can talk about Street Fighter 6. We're gonna raid whoever Batros X.
Alright, but don't scare them like that one dude who just ended the stream after the raid.
I hope I don't scare people. What did I freaking do?
You're
scary, Ronald. You're
I'm scary.
Yeah, B-boy Sonic X. Holy shit.
Well,
he's the B-boy.
Don't upset me. Maybe I'll be nice. I don't know.
Don't mess with him or he'll fuck you up in Sam Show.
That.
Ronald is about as scary as a teddy bear.
Dang, really?
Bro, you're not scary at all. I'm not trying to talk shit, but like I don't think Ronald and I think scary. Like I promise you, I'm not trying to like call you a bitch or anything, but I don't think scary when I think Ronald. I don't think scary when I think very many people.
It's both surprising
Honestly,
and understandable.
It's the laid back. It's the laid back people that are the ones that you should watch out for. Those are the ones that just like they'll explode when you at least expect it, and then they
I know how to
just
make Ronald explode. I'm gonna pay a white man $20 to call Ronald the hard R. I'm gonna see Ronald fist fight him.
How to make Ronald explode? Play a grappler.
Please don't.
I'm kidding.
Oh, I was gonna say like, please don't.
I feel like I'm just thinking like that'd be the most likely way to get me to fight somebody. It's just like, oh, you did what now? Okay, come on, let's go.
I can see it. Yeah. Also, whoever's watching, thank you for watching. We're gonna be chilling here in Discord probably, but let's go tell Batraz X howdy. Laters.